saints and the Most High. All praise to Yahawah, Yahweh. We the saints of the Most High. All praise to Yahawah, Yahweh.
All praise to the Most High. See these saints, we don't move like most guys. The light here so I can step with closed eyes and still see the enemy coming from both sides. Come to the saints and get sanctified. You ain't holy if you ain't got a saint to ride. I'm a saint for death and a saint for life. So it was probably the same in my ancient life. I was a man of sin that paid the price and still owe. So I'm trying to get my wages right. This for the masses. Yahawah been kicking our asses. Cause we're the children of Israel, if you ask us.
We the saints and the Most High. All praise to Yahawah, Yahweh. We the saints of the Most High. All praise to Yahawah, Yahweh. We the saints and the Most High. All praise to Yahawah, Yahweh. We the saints of the Most High. All praise to Yahawah, Yahweh. Well, and we them saints that sing a new song. It's our people dying every time we turn the news on. It's our people wearing capes, getting their coon on. For the ones who took it on, never putting you on. See, we dealing with the Stockholm syndrome. Talking to my people when they not gonna listen. They listen to these crackers, they got no wisdom, got no flavor.
Shabbat Shalawam, Shabbat Shalawam, or Shabbat Shalom, however you say it. Once again, thank you for tuning in. Let's give all praises, honor, and glory, esteem to our Father, Yahawah, the Ancient of Days, the Giver of Life, the Taker of Life, and His only begotten Son, Hamashiach Yahawah, who the world calls Jesus Christ, right? In the Hebrew, we say Hamashiach Yahawah, the Anointed One, the Savior, the one who was smeared with oil. Shalom, peace and blessings to all the brethren out there, to the four corners of the earth, right? All the Akim and all of the Akwatyam in the Hebrew, which are the sisters. To the four corners of the earth, we say shalom, peace, and blessings to you on this beautiful, beautiful Shabbat day. Hopefully you're keeping the Shabbat, as the Bible says in the book of Exodus chapter 20, to remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. We have a beautiful lesson here today. Beautiful, beautiful lesson here today. Last week, we said that we was going to touch more on the young mothers, older mothers, this thing that's going on in the world with leaving the children in vehicles in 100-degree heat, 90-degree heat. And that's even in, I guess, in the cold, in ice or bad weather, right? So we still wanted to touch on that because that's what was spoken last Shabbat. And we wanted to do what we said we was going to do, right? So we're still going to touch on that. We're going to go through a few scriptures to bring that out. And hopefully at the end of this, it will be edifying to build up our people, the nation, and those believers that are in the body, right? I have my son here that's going to help me read today. Thank you for that. Anything that you would like to say?
Shalom.
Shalom, peace and blessings once again. We have the rest of the family that has joined in. Anything that you would like to say? Shalom. So everybody sends their shalawams and sends their peace and blessings out to anybody that may be watching in the four corners of the earth or that may watch later, right? So as we move forward within the lesson, we just once again want to say, giving praises, honor, and glory to our Father, the Ancient of Days and the Giver of Life. Like, we don't give enough praises to the Father for all that He does and all that He has done for us. The mercy and the compassion that He has extended to us. So we just want to make sure that we give Him praises and honor and glory, and His Son, which is our brother, right? Hamashiach Yahawah. Thank you, Hamashiach Yahawah, for all that you do and have done. As we're going to get started here today, we're going to start off in the book of Sirach, right? The book of Sirach, chapter 26, and we're going to share the screen. Book of Sirach, chapter 26. This is in the 1611 King James Bible. As I always say, if you do not have your 1611 King James Bible, please go get you one, right? If you can't afford one, please email me and we will get that out to you, right, to help you out. So better known as the book of Sirach. We'll start off at verse 1, chapter 26. Let me blow this up more, right? And Should be good now. I think I could blow it up a little more, right? Let me see. I just want it to be as big so you can see it, right? Okay, let's go in. So this is just going to lay the foundation of what it is that we're going to be talking about today. If you've seen the title, you see what it says. Learning this law will change your life. And then it says saving lives, right? So just go with it for a minute and then you'll see what it is that we're trying to establish, right? And the things that we're going to be talking about. So I'm going to read this first, and then we're going to play a couple videos, and then we'll go more in detail to the lesson. So go ahead, start that off for me. Verse 1.
Sirach chapter 26, verse 1. Blessed is the man that hath a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be double.
So blessed, exalted, right? Barak, right? Is the man that have a virtuous wife. When you look up that word virtuous, it says what? A high moral standard. So you want a woman, a wife, that has a high moral standard, not just a moral standard, but a high moral standard. For the number of his days shall be double, right? You will live a longer time if you have a virtuous wife. Go ahead, verse 2.
Verse 2. A virtuous woman rejoiceth her husband, and he shall fulfill the years of his life in peace.
Fulfill the years of his life in peace. Notice how it starts off in verse 2 again about this virtuous woman. Virtuous, once again, is that she has a high moral standard and rejoiceth her husband, meaning that husband is what? He's happy. He delights in his wife because she has this high moral standard that she's sticking to, that she walks to, that she believes in. And he shall fulfill his years in peace. What a beautiful statement. What a beautiful thing is written here in the word of the Most High. Go ahead, verse 3. You let me know where you're going, because you said you wanted to go to certain places. So you let me know where you're going to go. Go ahead.
Verse 3. A good wife is a good portion, which shall be given in the portion of them that fear Yahweh.
So the only way you're going to get a good, virtuous woman, right, is if what? You fear the Most High Yahweh, or Abba, our Father. That's the only way you're going to receive a good, virtuous woman. Okay. Understanding. Where you want to go now?
Verse 6.
So we're going to jump down to verse 6. I want to say this. If you have never read this whole chapter, please, when you get some time, go back, read this whole chapter, because it's very, very enlightening. And the understanding that you will receive from this through the Spirit is off the charts, right? So he wants to jump down to verse 6. That's where we'll go. Verse 6 now. Go ahead.
But a grief of heart and sorrow is a woman that is jealous over another woman, and a scourge of the tongue which communicateth withal.
Now, what we see here is about what? Women being jealous over another woman. And that's what's going on in the world, not only today, but it's been going on since the beginning of time, right? Women have been jealous of other women. And this is why, like last week, when on the Sabbath day, we spoke on this a little bit, that this is why it's an issue. You know, like it says, when men look at certain type of women, how they're dressed or the things that they may have on, other women feel like they have to go and do those things, that they have to put all of this makeup on, right? All this cake stuff on their face. They feel like they have to go put on fingernails, fake fingernails, not their own fingernails, but fake fingernails. They feel like they have to go get contacts. They feel like they have to go get lip injections or butt injections or fake breast or whatever this is that's going on. Is because another woman is jealous of another woman, and they want to look or exhibit the type of attraction or things that these other women get. They want it for their self, right? Vanity of vanities, as we can see. Verse 7. Or was you going to 7?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
An evil wife is a yoke shaken to and fro.
She's shaken to and fro. She's everywhere, right? She doesn't have that high moral standard. So One day she wants lip injections, right? One day she wants to wear makeup. The next day she wants injections in her bottom. Then she doesn't want it. Then she wants her hair blonde. Then she wants her hair green. Then she wants her hair. She's all over the place. She's to and fro. She's just running around. Why? Because she's jealous and she's caught up in all of these other women trying to be something that she's not, when she should be what? A virtuous woman. Someone who has a high moral standard. Continue on.
He that hath hold of her is as though he held a scorpion.
Right. If that's the type of woman or wife that you have, it's like holding the scorpion in your hand. So do you want that type of woman? Do you want that type of wife? Someone who has an evil wife? As a yoke shaken to and fro? No, you want your wife to be what? Virtuous. Right? Because that's what verse 1 said. Blessed is the man who have a what? Virtuous wife that has a high moral standard. She's walking in what? Righteousness of the Most High. Where you at? Verse 8?
Verse 8.
Go ahead.
A drunken woman and a gatter abroad causeth great anger, and she will not cover her own shame.
She won't even cover up her own shame, meaning she knows she's shameful. She know the things that she's doing and saying and presenting are shameful, but she won't even cover that up. That's how bold that she is. Do you want that type of woman? Ask yourself that. Go ahead.
Verse 9. The whoredom of a woman may be known in her haughty looks and eyelids.
In her haughty looks, in her what?
Her eyelids.
In her eyelids. So if you want to know how whore or the whoredom of a woman may be known, it's in her haughty looks. Haughty. Is it haughty?
Haughty.
Haughty looks. So that's all you have to do is see how a woman presents herself. You know, I just did a lesson a couple days ago, and I went into in detail and broke down why it's so important for women to have their hair covered, right? Why is it important for men not to have their hair covered, right? I went into detail the order in 1 Corinthians chapter 11, how it's the Most High, then it's Hamashiach, then it's man, then it's woman, and then it's children, right? So you wonder why you have all this pushback from women when it's time for them to cover their head or not wear pants, right? It's pushback from them. Why? Because they have this evil inside of them that they want to be whores. That's just what it is. But we as the man that's over them, which is the head, as in the lesson I just showed Thursday, we can't allow that. We can't, because you are the head over the woman, and then you have a head, which is Hamashiach. So that's who you will answer to. You will answer to Hamashiach because you didn't stand up and be the man that you needed to be, which is the head over the woman. Which, if you don't do that, it affects the woman, and then it affects who? The children. And it will all be your fault. Right, which we're going to get into today and show some of the things that's been happening to these unfortunate children led by these wicked, evil mothers and women. Go ahead.
Verse 10.
Verse 10. Okay, go ahead.
If thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, lest she abuse herself through overmuch liberty.
So you make sure your daughters are not shameful, right? Keep a close eye on your daughter. You have to keep a close, as fathers, dads, you know, men in general, you want to keep a close eye on your daughter. And you don't want them to turn and become shameful or shameless, right? You want her to stay on that straight path. Because understand, if she turns that way, then what happens? She's going to destroy the very children that she's going to produce one day. Because if she's shameless, right, or a shameful woman, and she's not a virtuous woman, as we spoke about, with a certain standard or a high moral standard, how are the children going to be? Because that's what a woman was put here I don't want to say the only reason why she was put here, but that's the gift that a woman was given, that she would bring forth what? Life. The children come out of her womb. And that's one of the first things that the child that comes out of the womb knows is the mother. Why? Because she had, most of the time, not all children, but they suck from the mother's breast to get that milk, to get that nourishment. In that, the mother holds her, cradles her, right? Shows them love, talk to them, speak to them, rub on them. And they understand that they're getting nourishment from this one individual that's holding them and embracing them. But if she a shameful type of daughter, a shameful type of woman, hey, you know, it might be cognac in her breast, you know, might be cigarette smoke in her breast. She doesn't care. She doesn't care about her, and she doesn't care about the child. Anyway, where else you want to go?
Let me read verse 11.
You want to read verse 11? Okay. Verse 11, go ahead.
Watch over an impudent eye, and marvel not if she trespass against thee.
Don't even marvel about it. It say marvel not if she what? Trespass against you. If she go against you, don't even wreck your brain over it. If the Bible is already telling you that. Where you going?
Verse 22.
You want to jump down to 22? Okay, we're going to jump down to verse 22, and we're going to read from 22 to what? Well, you just go and tell me when you want to stop, right? So we're at verse 22, he says. Go ahead. I got it on the screen for you.
Okay.
Verse 22.
Car. And harlot shall be accounted as spittle. But a married woman is a tower against death to her husband.
Ooh, now that's deep. A harlot, a whore, a prostitute, right, shall be accounted as spittle. So all those young ladies that we see out on the corners, right, they're selling their body, selling themselves, not even on the corners, but even on social media, even on these apps and things, what is they call OnlyFans and all of these things, right? They're still harlots. The Bible says they shall be accounted as spittle, which is spit out of your mouth. That's what degree they are in the Bible, in the Most High eyes, as they look, the Most High look at those individuals as spit. But a married woman is a tower, something high, against death to her husband, right? A married woman, go ahead.
Verse 23. A wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man.
Woo! So if you're dealing with a wicked woman, a non-virtuous woman, a shameful woman, or a shameless woman, it says maybe that was given to you because you're a wicked man. That's what the Bible just said. A wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man, right? So it makes you want to look at yourself in the mirror and say, hey, am I a wicked man? And this is why this is what was given to me. This is why I'm going through all this. This is why she's as a scorpion in my hand. She doesn't listen. She doesn't hearken. She's to and fro. She's up and down the street. She's leaving the children in the car while she's going in to get a tan, or going in to get lip injections, or going in to go grocery shopping. So many different things that we're going to see that women just leave these children to do what it is that they want to do. And they're mad at the other people that find the kids. It's not like I just left them in the effing car to die. I had to go get a tan. Right? That's a wicked woman to say some statement like that. The child was left in the car in 100-degree heat, and you was in the tanning salon getting a tan. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But a godly woman is given to him that feareth Yahweh.
All praises to the Most High. A godly woman is given to him that feareth the Most High, you know. And that's what a virtuous woman is. A virtuous woman is someone that what? Fears the Most High and has a high moral standard. That's a beautiful thing. So if you have that, Akim, brothers, if you have that, give a praise to the Most High that you have that type of woman, that he has given you that. He has gifted that to you, right? Because it deserves all praises to the Most High. And we should be very thankful that he has given us that type of woman that's willing to walk with us side by side in this virtuous or high moral standard way. And it's a journey for those who are walking that path. It's a journey. It's up, it's down, it's side, to the right, to the left, but it's a journey. But you know what? When you have that woman next to you, that's a virtuous woman, she doesn't give up on you and you don't give up on her. Certain people may not understand it, but as long as you guys understand it and don't give up on each other and love each other, then hey, you have the best thing that the Most High has given you. Go ahead.
Wicked.
What verse you at?
Verse 24.
I think we just read that.
No, we read.
Okay, Salakia, 24. Go ahead.
A dishonest woman contemneth shame, but an honest woman will reverence her husband.
What does it mean to reverence her husband? Anybody know what the word reverence mean? You're gonna look it up. Go ahead. A dishonest woman, right? She won't listen. She like her shame, but an honest woman will reverence her husband. When we look in the Bible, when we see reverence, it means to show respect.
Deep respect for someone or something.
Say it again so they can hear.
Deep respect for someone or something.
Deep respect for someone or something. This is why the Bible tells us to do what? Show reverence to who? The Most High Yahawah, our Father, and Hamashiach Yahawashi, right? Because it's a deep respect. If you respect the Most High Yahawah, you will hearken to his words and you will hearken to his commands and regulations. If you have what? Reverence for him. You respect him. That's why I say when it says fear the Most High Yahawah, it's not talking about fear like, oh, I'm so scared, I'm shaking in my boots. No, it's a fear like a reverence that you respect him and you have such a high respect for him that you won't go against his word because you respect him. This is why the Bible says honor your who? Father and mother. But we'll get into that. You want to continue on?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Verse 25.
A shameless woman shall be counted as a dog,
But
she that is shamefaced will fear Yahweh.
She that is shamefaced will fear Yahweh. With Salaki will fear Yahweh. Go ahead.
Verse 26. A woman that honoreth her husband shall be judged wise of all.
Shall be judged what?
Wise of all.
So if you honor your husband, you will be a wise woman. Go ahead.
But she that dishonoreth him in her pride.
In her what?
In her pride.
In her pride. So a woman that dishonor her husband, it shows that she's a very prideful woman. Go ahead.
Shall be counted ungodly of all.
And let me tell you something. Anytime you take your child and leave your son or daughter anywhere, for so to say, anywhere, when you lay down with that man, remember the man is the head over you. When you take the child and leave it somewhere, that's dishonoring your who? Your head, which is your husband, which is the man, which the Bible is letting us know right here, it would be counted as what? An ungodly thing. So these women that these things are happening to, and I'm not saying all the time it's a woman, but for the things that we have seen lately is mostly women. These women are ungodly women. And the reason these things are happening to the so-called, well, not so-called, to the children are because these are what? Ungodly women. They're not hearkening and listening to the law or to the word or to the commandment. Why? Because they are shamefaced. They're ungodly women. They don't care. That's why they say comments like, it's not like I left the children in the car to effing die. I was only getting a tan. So, like I said, we just wanted to lay a foundation, and that's all this is right here. Now we're going to show a couple videos, And we're going to get more in detail into the lesson, right? But I want to show these videos first, right? So if I may, let me go here. Thank you, Jenny Wood. Shalawam. Sirach. Thank you, Jenny Wood. Thank you. We appreciate that. Thank you. And now I want to go here and show a few videos, right? About the things that's going on that we spoke about last Shabbat, but I want to show you here, right? Let me know if it's sharing.
Looks like the actual debtor went into club fitness and they left their baby in the car while they're sitting there working out. There's a child in the car. Babies aren't supposed to be left in cars, so you can't see, and I'm not going to show the kid. And
So as we can see here, that this gentleman is a tow truck driver, and I guess he was called to tow this car. But as he was getting ready to tow the vehicle, he noticed that it was a car seat and a baby inside the car seat in this vehicle. Now, as his mother would come out, if he hadn't noticed the child, and the vehicle would have been gone, and the tow truck driver is going to take the car to the impound, sit it in the impound, and leave it. If nobody would have never entered or looked into the vehicle, the child would have died inside of the car at a tow yard while she was at the gym or whatever is about to say what she was doing. But thank the Most High that this man looked inside the vehicle before he actually put it all the way on the tow truck and rolled away.
I'm already to get it hooked up. It's hooked up, but I'm not going to pull the car with a baby there. So I'm going to disable the vehicle. Call the police because there shouldn't be a baby sitting in the vehicle. It takes a split second for something to happen to that child. I have 2 daughters, actually. And you should never leave your child unattended in a vehiole, even for a minute.
Why are you telling me that, baby?
And baby in the car so they can go work out. That's pretty messed up. So,
like I was tanning. I don't know what.
Tanning? You should be taking care of your child.
Use the bathroom. I have my kids.
Oh, the police are gonna be
tanning. Tanning? You are kidding me. I can't make this stuff up.
So she left her child in the car, right? She left her child in the car to go what? Tanning. I don't know how long tanning takes, right? But I would think it's not a 5 or 10 minute procedure. I don't know. I don't get tan. I'm already tanned already. I don't need to go to a building to get tan. Right. But no laughing matter at this right here. She left her child in the car so she can go get a tan, right? Let's watch another one. Let me see if I can pull another one up, right? Hold on. Give me 1 second. Let's go to this one. Here we go. Oh, God.
It's a 90-degree day in July at a big box store in New Jersey. And
so we see here a 90-degree day, right? 90 degrees. And here a child is left, a toddler, as you could say, rescued from a hot car in 90-degree heat, right? Here we go again about these ungodly women, non-virtuous women that are having children and are out in the world. And they don't care. As you've seen how this other woman said, well, I was in there getting a tan. Not worried about the child that's in a car in 100-degree heat. She worried about getting a tan. Why? Because she's a shame-faced woman.
You know what she said?
What'd she say?
When he was saying you shouldn't be leaving a kid in there. She was all like,
why you telling me?
Yeah.
You
telling me?
That's what she said. He said, you should not be leaving a child in the car. And she said, why are you telling me? Well, we need to tell you, evidently. But once again, you know, when we look at these things, we don't think for those that believe in the word and believe in the Most High and His only begotten Son, Hamashiach Yahawashi, this really all goes back to what? That they're not following the Most High and His Son in righteousness. These women are more concerned about things of this world, right? Just like it said earlier when we read, They don't have a high moral standard. These women are jealous of other women and they're worried about how they look. The reason she went to go get a tan is because she's worried about how she looked. And that was more important to her than her own child that could have died in the car. Now, here's another example of a child that's left in a minivan. And it's, I guess somebody heard the crying, and you have all of these, what are they called? Good Samaritans that hear this child in a vehicle crying while the parent is somewhere shopping. I'm going to press play.
Several shoppers gather around a minivan after claiming to hear cries coming from inside the locked vehicle. It's a toddler strapped into.
Now you can hear, if you listen, I'm going to rewind it real quick. If you listen real closely, you can hear the child crying in the car. You can hear it. You have to be, you know how evil you have to be to leave your child in the car to where your child is crying for help because it's 100 degrees? Listen closely.
Degree day in July at a big box store in New Jersey, and several shoppers gather around a minivan after claiming to hear cries coming from inside the locked vehicle. It's a toddler strapped into a car seat. She's alone and in distress. Someone has already called the police, as a few of the Good Samaritans try in vain to reach the child.
I'll just rip that rear window right off. Jim, the cop's right here. See if he wants to break the window.
Police arrive moments later and make short work of getting inside the car. Another officer immediately attends to the child.
Where are the parents? We just discovered her about 10 minutes ago. And we know.
So unless you know that the mother been gone for more than 10 minutes, they said they discovered her about 10 minutes ago. So the mother was gone so long that the people that discovered her, after they discovered the child, they called the police. They had to wait for the police to come. Once the police got there, they had to figure out what to do, bust the window to get the child. All this time, the mother's still gone. So you can't say, oh, I ran into the store and I ran right back out. No, these are minutes time that has went by before they even discovered the child. Once again, I'm going to press play.
Oh my God.
He's choking.
I know.
The toddler appears unharmed, but is drenched in sweat. Moments later, the mother arrives.
You left her in the car. No, sorry. She put it on.
The mother apologizes, but it does little to rectify the situation. She is arrested and charged with child endangerment and later released on her own recognizance.
Well, he asked just a question right now. He asked, why did she have the other child, though? So she took one child, but the other child she left. And sometimes parents do that. Sometimes parents care about the other child more than they care about one child, or that one child could have been up and the other child could have been asleep. And she said, well, I'll leave her in here because she's sleeping. I'll take the one that's awake. That's not good judgment, right? That's not good judgment. Now, I don't know why she took the other one and didn't take. I can't say that, but, you know, that's something that can happen. Here's another one.
Big retailers don't want you to have this zoom lens, but there's nothing they can do to stop it. So there's this new
HOU 11 starts right now with a breaking news alert.
And right now we continue to follow breaking news out of Galena Park. Authorities saying a 9-year-old girl found alone and unresponsive in a car has died.
Yeah, the girl was discovered at about 2 this afternoon at a business on Mayo Shell Road in Galena Park. Maria Aguilera,
9 years old, was found in a vehicle, died. 9 years old, and she died. Now, who left her in the vehicle? We're going to find out. This is what I'm saying. Something is wrong in this world with these ungodly women because they're having children and they're not walking in what? Righteousness. The discernment is off in their head that you think you can leave a child, whether a month or 2 old or 9 years old. We can still see even when they're 9 that it affects them to a point where it can what? Kill them.
They're live with late-breaking details. Maria.
Yeah, well, we heard from Sheriff Ed Gonzalez here within the last hour on this heartbreaking case. Now, we did find out that a mother left her 9-year-old child inside a vehicle. It's actually behind this area right here at this USG Galena Park. And we were told that she was left there for about 8 hours. The sheriff tells us that she was left with the windows cracked and some water. Now, you can't really see the vehicle from this angle, but it is next to a blue truck that's parked right there next to the Harris County Sheriff's Office vehicles. Air 11.
Come on, man. 8 hours. 8 hours. You left your child in the car for 8 hours? 8? And you think that's okay? With the window cracked? Man, you talking about way off.
Did get some video earlier of the vehicle. It is a white Camry and it has a white with a sun shield, excuse me. The sheriff tells us that the girl's mother is a 36-year-old woman who works here, and she left the child inside the car since 6 this morning until about 2 p.m. when she checked on her. And by then she was unresponsive and rushed to LBJ Hospital, where she was later pronounced dead. Now, Sheriff Gonzalez repeatedly expressed that there are no excuses to leave a child alone in a vehicle.
As a parent, and even if it wasn't, it's extremely sad and upsetting. It's not worth it to just put a child at risk like this.
It's not worth it at all. It's almost insanity. Like, what is going on in their mind, in their world, that they believe that this is okay, right? What do they believe this? How do they believe this is okay? Here's
dressed in a prison jumpsuit. This mom.
Here's another one. But something is definitely going on in their minds and in the world, because as you can see, we're going time and time and time again. And this is the last one I'm going to show you before we move forward. But we can see that this is a reoccurring thing. All these videos that I just showed you were weeks apart. Weeks. And you can go all the way back from 9, 10, 11, 12 years that this is still going on. Something is wrong inside the woman or these young ladies' head, in their minds. Where is their mind? Like she said, the guy said, you in there tanning, it's not right to leave a child inside the car. And the mother, she turns around and said, why are you telling me that? Well, you the one that had the child. It came out of your womb. Evidently, we need to tell you, because I know that it's not right to leave a child in a car. Do you know? If you don't, then you shouldn't be having children. And she was mad. I mean, something is wrong.
She didn't get that full tan.
She didn't what?
She didn't get the full tan.
She didn't get the full tan, huh? She's seen some lights out there. Here's another one, an example of it says, mom leaves 2 kids in a hot car for 2 hours to get lip fillers. She's more concerned about getting lip injections, right? This vanity type of thing, right? Maybe she's jealous over some other woman. Maybe, I don't know, that she feels like that she needs to go into this place and get lip injections because she wants to look like someone. They show pictures of her puckering her upper lips on social media. She's more concerned about that than her own children. And for those who know this story, the place actually said that she could bring her children inside the facility, and she still didn't, right? She left them in the car. But let's hear this one.
Dressed in a prison jumpsuit, this mom is accused of the unthinkable. Cops say she left her 2 kids in a hot car for 2 hours while she was getting lip injections. Her youngest son died in the blistering heat. Authorities say the young mom had her 2 babies, ages 1 and 2, strapped in their car seats in this parking lot while she was inside for up to 2 hours having a cosmetic procedure. It was one of the hottest days of the year. It reached 102 degrees. Maya Hernandez looked emotionless as she faced a judge inside a courtroom in Bakersfield, California. Ring camera footage shows police questioning the mom moments after she found both sons in a medical crisis. Hernandez is shielding her eyes from the bright sun. Police say temperatures inside the car soared to 143 degrees. Little Emilio had no pulse and died at the hospital. His 2-year-old brother miraculously survived.
It's a tragic situation and she's incredibly sad.
I spoke to the mom's attorney. The children were clearly in the car. The allegation is she left them in the car knowingly.
Right. I want people not to rush to judgment. The fact of the matter is she's still a child herself. She's barely 20.
At a vigil, the children's grandmother spoke out against her daughter-in-law.
I have been tortured, but the thought that they were in there alone, it was just a horrible experience.
On social media, the grandmother posted, she left them in their car seats alone for Botox. My God, why? The little boy's aunt teared up, thinking of her last visit with Emilio.
It's great knowing that I got at least that last moment before dropping him off at home and never knowing this would happen.
Maya Hernandez had recently posted this selfie showing off her pouty lips. Now that desire for full lips appears to have cost the life of her young son.
Hernandez is charged with.
Now, as we can see, it wasn't even worth it. It wasn't even worth it. She lost everything. Her child, now she lost her life for some pouty lips. To pout them on what? Social media. It wasn't even worth it. But with all that being said, right, we went through all that foundation videos. Now let's go into the lesson, right? For those that are tuned in, let's go into the lesson. Let's go to Genesis chapter 3, right? Genesis chapter 3. All those women are murderers. They killed their children, which goes against what? The very law. This is how we know that they're ungodly women, because they killed their children. Let's go to Genesis chapter 3. Right? Genesis chapter 3, verse 20. Genesis 3 and 20. Go ahead.
Genesis chapter 3, verse 20.
Uh-huh.
And Adam called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all living.
So this is what I mean by what? Women were given this, right? This is a gift through the Most High, that she would be what? The mother of all living. The woman is the one who brings life through her vessel. Like I say, the nurturer, right? I know the man is a protector, but the woman is a protector in a certain way, like I say, because let's be honest, the woman is more so the one who spends more time with the children or the child, especially when they're first born. The last one we just seen, I believe, was a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old, right? They're just getting off of the milk. The 2-year-old maybe knows how to walk a little bit, talk a little bit, but not really so. The 1-year-old, he's still kind of like not even really moving around. But she was more concerned about what? Pouty lips, how she looked, vanity of this world, than what? Being a virtuous woman like we spoke about earlier. Now that husband, that man, as the Bible said earlier, it was like he was holding what? A scorpion in his hand, and he lost a child behind it because of her vanity, because her being an ungodly woman, worrying about things of this world. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been at that position. She would have been at home taking care of the kids or whatever she was doing. I don't know, her whole life. But she wouldn't have been at that place getting a procedure for her lips so she can go home and take pictures in social media and go, because that's all it's about. Or maybe she was the OnlyFans mom. I don't know. But it's something for all of us to recognize, because like it was spoke on last week, you know, for those who was here last week that may watch this or at a later time, you know, the conversation that we were having is that, well, this is what men look at. And with men looking at this, it makes our women want to go and do these things. And we need to see the cause and effect behind it and how these things can happen and attribute to certain other things that can happen to where a child lost their life behind it. To be honest, when women go and do these things, I know they say it doesn't affect them. It's not really, they don't care. They're doing it for themselves and self-improvement. But really is what? What is it deep down inside that they're unhappy with their own self? Like it was saying, because you look at all of these other women that have the BBLs, or a woman may be natural and be very curvy, or she may have plump lips. And women see you look at that and think that's what you want. And then now, since they have these surgeries, women want to go and do it. And now she's in the parking lot leaving your kids in the car. You know, you could have called me. I would have took the day off of work. Let me know, hey, I'm going to get surgery. Well, bring me my kids. I don't care. If it was going to say, I mean, if
could have called her sister.
She could have called her sister. The aunt,
literally dropped
the mother-in-law. Oh. I mean, from what they said and how they look, it was many of people that she could have called to leave the kids with. Listen to this, though. In that, the facility said that she can bring the kids in.
And there was kids in there.
And there were kids in there. And she still said no. So what mind frame was she in? No, I'm going to just leave my kids in the car. So this was given to you through Eve, that you are the mother of all living, right? Let's get into why I made this video, the title of the video about the law, right? So this, I know we went through a whole lot, but now we're going to get into it. Let's go to the book of Exodus, right? Let's get to this law in Exodus chapter 20. And we'll go to the 10 commandments, right? So the reason I'm using this, because we could have went to a lot of different laws and commandments, but you have certain believers out there that say, oh, well, I only keep the 10 commandments, or I only believe that the 10 commandments is still prevalent, basically, that we only need to keep the 10 commandments. So listen, you can't get around this. I don't care what you think or what you believe. If you're a believer of the Most High and His only begotten Son, Hamashiach Yahushua, you cannot get around this. The law stands, and this is the 10 commandments, right? Let's jump down to verse 12. We're going to read just 12 and 13. Go ahead.
Exodus chapter 20, verse 12.
Uh-huh.
Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which Yahweh thy Elohim giveth thee.
Stop right there. Now, a lot of people read this and they take this into consideration that it's talking about their father, their dad, and their mother, the one who gave them life, right? But in a spiritual sense, when we look at this, right, spiritually, because we know that the Bible, as Paul says in the book of Romans, that the words of the Bible and the words of the Most High are what? Spiritual. So you can't look at these things in an earthly format, right? In a fleshly or physical format. He wants you to look at them in a spiritual format. So it says, honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which Yahweh thy Allah giveth thee. Right now, with that being said, let's go a little bit into who the father and your mother is. So let's go to Malachi. We're going to come back to Exodus, but let's go to Malachi, right? Chapter 2. Malachi chapter 2. And let's see what this says. Let me blow it up some.
What verse?
We're going to do verse 10. Malachi 2 and 10. Here we go.
Malachi chapter 2, verse 10.
Go ahead.
Have we not all one Father?
Stop. Question mark there, you see? This is Malachi. And he's asking, as he's writing this right here, have we not all one Father? So us as the people that are put here on this earth, we have one Father. Everybody. And how do we know this? Because the very next thing he says is what?
Hath not one Allah created us?
Right. So that Father that is speaking about is the one who created us, the one who brought everything into existence. Yeah, Hamashiach did the work. He did the job, but it was the Father who even gave that, who even brought forth Yahweh Shai to even bring forth the creation. So like he said, we have what? One Father. Who is our Father? Our Abba, Yahweh, the Ancient of Days and the Giver of Life. Read it from the top again and read it all the way through. Go ahead.
Have we not all one Father?
Uh-huh.
Hath not one Allah created us?
Mm-hmm.
Why do we deal treacherously, every man against his brother, by profaning the covenant of our fathers?
And all these that you see, as he just read this, there are question marks. And there's 3 in there. So it's asking you, don't we all have one Father? Have not one power, which is Allah, created us? And that power is the Most High Yahweh. And why do we deal treacherously, every man against his brother? That's your brother. By profaning what? The covenant of our fathers. The covenant that was given to us is that we was what? In Exodus 20, that we should honor who? Our Father. That's one of the commandments. That's one of the laws. And our Father is who? The Most High. So when we see these things in the world, when we're looking at these ungodly women, we see the foundation of the household from the man, which is supposed to be the head, is not there. And the head is not doing his job. So do I blame the women? I blame the women for what they do, but it all starts at the household with the man. And clearly in these situations, there's very poor judgment, whether it's going shopping for the family, as we seen one mother do, whether it's getting a tan to try to look cute for your husband or whoever you're trying to look cute for, or to get lip injections. Let's go to another one in the New Testament, because some people may say, you know, these new Christians, they're going to say, well, that's the Old Testament. Let's get something in the New. Matthew chapter 23, right? Let's cover it all. Matthew 23, and we're going to start at about verse 8. Let me see where we at. Matthew 23, let me blow it up. Matthew 23. And, you know, for those who haven't read the book of Matthew, please go back and read this, because it has a lot even to do with today about the so-called people that are out here delivering the word of the Most High and how they're delivering and what they love to get back from the people. Huh? Matthew 23.
Verse 8.
And we'll start at verse 8.
Matthew chapter 23, verse 8.
Uh-huh.
But be not ye called rabbi, for one is your master, even Hamashiach, and all ye are brethren.
Hold on. Now, let me pull this real quick. Let's see what the word rabbi means. Right? Now, here it says it's the Greek. I'll push it.
Strong's G 4461. Rabbi.
On the screen, it says the outline of biblical usage. My great one, my honorable sir. 2 says rabbi, a title used by the Jews to address their what? Teachers. And also honor them when not addressing them. So rabbi could be considered as calling someone what? Huh? A master or a teacher. So we have to be careful when you say, people ask me all the time, well, who do you learn under? Who teaches you? And I always tell people, Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. And they say, yeah, but who do you sit under? Like, who teaches? And I say, Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. And they don't get it. Like, they want to hear an earthly person's name, somebody that they may can look up or know or this or that. But I have one master, like the Bible is telling me, and I have what? One teacher. See, when people think they're getting taught by a man, that's where the problem comes. That's where the dilemma comes. That's where you start to fall off. The Strong's definition says, my master, i.e., an example, rabbi, as an official title of honor, master or rabbi, right? That's what it says. So let's go back. Now, let me just do a comparative text real quick and we'll move on, right? In the New King James, it says, but you do not be called rabbi, for one is your teacher. And who is that teacher? It says Hamashiach, Christ, the anointed one, the Savior. And listen, here's the kicker part. And you all, Salakia, and you are all brethren. So we have one teacher that is who? Hamashiach. And Hamashiach is letting us know that we are all what? Brethren. We're all brethren. The New Living Translation puts it like this. Don't let anyone call you rabbi, for you have only one teacher. This is why I say we have to be careful and make sure we follow the word of the Most High. For you only have one teacher, and all of you are equal as brothers and sisters. And clearly that's not happening in Israel today. Clearly, very much clearly. People are exalting themselves to bishops and chief priests and all these different titles and things like that. The Bible says, Hamashiach Yahawah says that we are all equal as brothers and sisters. And if we looked at each other like that and we felt that we were all equal, nobody will be exalted above anyone. And we would all be equal and know how to deal with one another because we're equal. Nobody is higher than anybody else. The only one is higher is Hamashiach Yahawah. And it says that in the NIV and in the ESV, if you could see it on the screen, right? We have one teacher and all of us are brothers and sisters, right? So let's move forward. I just wanted to show that. Matthew 23:9. Go ahead.
And call no man your father upon the earth, for one is your Father which is in heaven.
So when we go back, like I said, which we're going to do, to Exodus 20, and I believe it was verse 11 we read, or was it 12? I think it was 12 because I said 12 and 13. I believe so. Don't quote me, but we'll go back to it. In verse 9 here in the New Testament, it's saying, and call no man your who? Father. So in Exodus chapter 20, when it says, honor thy father and thy mother, who is it speaking about? Is it speaking about your natural dad? Is it speaking about your natural mother? Or is it speaking in the spiritual sense when it's saying your father? Honor him. What does it mean to honor him? What's the word that we used earlier? Can you remember? Starts with an R, huh? Reverence. A high respect. Isn't that what the Father always asks us of us? To reverence him, to show a high respect. That's what it's saying in the book of Exodus chapter 20, to honor your father. And here it's telling us in the New Testament that we can only call one man our father. Upon the earth, and look how it says upon the earth, letting you know that you on the earth. I'm not speaking about here in heavens and the Shemayim and all this. I'm speaking about you on that earth. You can only call one man father, and that's me. Not me, but the Most High Yahweh. For one is your father, which is where? It's going to tell us where he is where?
In heaven.
He's in heaven. So don't get it twisted. It's not talking about me, your dad. It's talking about him up there. Read verse 10 and we'll move on.
Verse 10. Neither be called masters, for one is your master, even Hamashiach.
See? I've heard people throughout my time, even in Christianity, that one person, Geno Jennings, they say they get up in there and they announce and they say, here's our teacher, guide, all these things. Here is our teacher, our guide. No, one is your teacher. One is your guide. One is your master. That's Hamashiach. It's not Geno Jennings. It's not T.D. Jakes. It's not John Gray. It's not Creflo O'Dollar. It's not Benny Hinn. It's not me. It's not you. It's not anybody but who? Hamashiach Yahawashi. And that's why everything crumbles. Like when we speak about our brother chief priest and we find out things about him and the whole thing crumbles down. Why? Because they put their trust in a man and not Hamashiach Yahawashi. They was learning from a man and not Hamashiach Yahawashi. I'll tell you later if you don't know. Yeah. Anyway, verse 10 says, neither be ye called masters, for one is our master, which is Hamashiach Yahawashi, right? So who is the father that is speaking about back in Exodus? Let's go all the way back to Exodus. And I believe it was, let's see, it was 12.
Yeah.
So it was 12. So when it says honor thy father right here, it's speaking about who? The Most High Yahweh. Those women that we showed on the screen, they're not honoring their father. They're not even honoring their dad that's here on earth. They're ungodly women that are killing their children. You know, like that guy, the attorney said, I would ask you to, she's just a child herself. Man, she's 20 years old. Come on. A 20-year-old don't know that it's wrong to leave a 1-year-old child in a 140-degree heat car? That's common sense. You wouldn't leave your dog in a 150-degree heat car, which is still killing the dog because the dog would die. Imagine, I know the windows was up, but imagine the crying the baby was doing before his cry because, you know, your organs got to shut down because by the time they came, he was dead. No, he had no pulse. All a baby at 1 year old know how to do is cry so the mother can come. Imagine all of the crying that was being done before he couldn't cry no more, that his organs shut down as a child. And to sit there and just be like grasping on your last breath as a child. That's a killer. She killed them kids, which leads us into what? Where it says, honor thy mother. Right? Before we move on to the next one, which is thou shalt not kill. We're going to get into that, but I want to get into this second part because we found out who the father is. Who was the father? Yahweh. Now let's find out who the mother is, because when people read this, they think it's talking about your natural mother, right? That's what everybody believes. Honor thy father and mother on the earth. But it's speaking about the father that's in heaven, which is our father Yahweh, and it's speaking about thy mother. And let's find out who the mother is. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 1. Proverbs 1 and I think 7. Let me see. Yeah, let's start at 7 and then read 7 and 8. Right? We're going to go to about 9.
All right. Okay. Proverbs chapter 1 verse 7.
Go ahead.
The fear of Yahweh is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction.
Salakia, go ahead. I'm sorry. Reread it. I'll jump the gun. Go ahead.
The fear of Yahweh is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction.
See, the instructions that was given was bring your kids in a facility. She had enough sense to ask, is it okay for me to bring my kids in a facility? They said yes. You can bring your kids in. You only have to leave them where? In the waiting room, in air conditioning, in a building.
She didn't have enough common sense to bring him.
Didn't have enough common sense. So she was what? But fools despise what?
Wisdom.
She didn't use her wisdom. As you just said, she didn't have enough common sense. You got something? Go ahead.
I have a comment.
You got a comment? Go
It's
ahead.
sad because she probably didn't trust the people in the building, but yet you trust leaving your child in the car.
Now, my question:
if something was to happen, no one can get to them.
Then no one can get to them. But my thing is, if you don't trust the people to leave your kids in the car, you trust them to put this stuff inside your body?
Yeah, but that's something different.
Okay.
That's something that she wants to do for herself, whatever the fact.
So you said maybe as a mother, she got a certain type of vibe that she felt like she didn't want to leave her kids in the waiting room.
As a mother, period, it's hard for you to leave your child with other people, period.
Okay.
Because you don't know these people.
Right.
But at the same time, these people are paid to do these things.
Right.
They're paid to watch the children. And there are other children in there.
Right,
so
right.
There shouldn't have been a problem.
Cameras, everything.
She couldn't have left her child in there.
Right, right.
If she would have brought her children in,
they would be alive.
They would be alive.
Well, one survived, one died, but he would be alive.
Yeah, one survived, but he's traumatized.
Definitely, definitely. And that will always be the story that my brother died because my mother left him in the car. Left both of us in the car, really, to die. You know, it's just a miracle that he survived, maybe because he was a little older. He was 2, you know, and the other one was 1. So
well, I mean,
he definitely had organ
the 9-year-old died.
The 9-year-old died too. Yeah. You say he definitely what?
Definitely has organ failure.
Something. Definitely. Let's read verse 8. That was a great comment though. And notice the title of it up here says the enticement of sinners. Right? So you're being enticed. Go ahead.
Verse 8. My son, hear the instruction of thy father.
Go ahead.
And forsake not the law of thy mother.
So the instructions of thy father is who? We only call one father, and we know that to be who? Yahweh. So you want to hear the instructions of thy father, which is Yahweh. Now we're going to find out who our mother is. And forsake not the law of who? So who is your mother? The law. So when you look at Exodus 20:12 and you see honor thy father and thy mother, it's telling you to honor your father, which is Yahweh, and the mother, which is the law. It says, and forsake not the law of thy mother. Read verse 9. Oh, go ahead.
My comment is when it says to honor thy mother, when you honor someone, is that you're doing what they ask you to do. So the law being the wisdom and the law, you need to do what is being said to do.
Con. Here's the comparative text. New King James says, my son, hear the instructions of your father and do not forsake the law of your mother. The New Living Translation says, my child, listen when your father corrects you. Don't neglect your mother's instructions. Basically to what you just said, right? And the NIV says, listen, my son, to your father's instructions and do not forsake your mother's teaching. So who is the mother? The law, right? Let's get another one. Proverbs 6. Let's jump over a little bit. Proverbs chapter 6.
What verse?
20. We're going to read from 20 to 23.
You there?
Yep, Proverbs 6 and 20. Go ahead.
My son, keep thy father's commandment and forsake not the law of thy mother.
Once again, so it's telling you who the mother is. It's telling you who the father is. So this is clear cut in the scripture. So when you see this in Exodus, once again, the father is our father Yahweh and the mother is the law. Clear. I hope you can see it on the screen. Spiritually, of course, we know that you have a dad here on earth and you have a mother, what you call mom or whatever you call her on earth. I'm saying in a spiritual format, in a spiritual way, because we have to look at the word in a spiritual way that's being delivered to us. Okay? Hopefully you can understand that. Verse 21.
Bind them continually upon thine heart, and tie them about thy neck.
Go ahead.
When thou goest, it shall lead thee. When thou sleepest, it shall keep thee. And when thou awakest, it shall talk with thee. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life.
Now I want to focus just a moment before we move forward on verse 22. It says, when thou goest, so wherever you go, it shall lead thee, right? What will lead you? The law. So if they had hearkened to the very commandment that was given, these ungodly women would have not done these things that they're doing, because they would know that it's wrong. Like you said, they lack discernment. They lack what? You said common sense. And when they went somewhere, this what? Law and these commandments would lead them to know that what they're doing is incorrect, but they're not walking in that. It says, when thou sleepest, it shall keep thee. Meaning what? What does it mean when you sleep? It shall keep thee. Means to protect you even in your sleep. I don't know if you knew that you need protection even in your sleep. That's why certain people have dreams and certain things in their sleep, and they wake up scared or this or that. Listen, evil is constant even when you're asleep at all times. It says, and when thou awakest, when you wake up, it shall talk with thee. How is it going to talk with you when you wake up? Your spirit speaks to you when you wake up. Your mind starts to think. You start to think things in your mind. Now, what you may think when you wake up, I don't know. But like we was having a conversation last night, for me, when I wake up, one of the first things that I do when I wake up is pray in my mind. Thank you, Abba, for waking me up. Your mercy and compassion is new every morning. Therefore, I put my trust in you. You know, thy word is a lamp to my feet. I start off my day with that in my mind. Why? Because that's the spirit talking with me when I have awakened. And I know personally for me that if I don't do that, my day is worse off than if I do that. So I try to catch my mind, or try to catch my brain before it start to go off on all these other things, before you open up your phone and start looking at stuff, before you turn on the TV, before you start having conversations with people and all this. The first thing and the first person you should talk to is the Most High. That's what it says. And it lets you know in verse 23 for what? The commandment is a lamp. You need to turn the lamp on in the morning. And the law is what? Light. So the mother is considered what? The law, which is what? Light. And a reproof of instructions are the way of life. Like she just said, that woman needed to be what? Reproved with her instructions. And like she said, she had, that's why I said that was a good comment, because like she said, I didn't even look at it that way, but, I'm not a mother. But like she said, maybe she didn't feel comfortable leaving the children inside that facility, because it's hard for a woman to leave their children with someone that they don't know. But once again, like my son said, maybe she should have called the aunt or the mother-in-law or who? Or the cousin.
Because when the video was playing, she literally said, the aunt said that she just dropped the kids off.
Yeah, she said, I just dropped them off, not knowing that would be the last time that I seen them. Like she could have said, hey, can you keep them tomorrow too? Because I got a doctor's appointment. We don't know if that would have happened, but there's nothing wrong with asking. You got something?
Yeah,
go ahead.
I was just thinking that, and you never know the lifestyles that these certain women
have, right. That's why I say about being around and being yourself an ungodly woman. But go ahead.
Like the lifestyle that they may have, they may not even be a great mom. They may always be, because we always look at it, they could have left them with some family members.
Right.
Well, how do we not know that she's always putting the kids on the family members and they were tired?
Right. Right.
Right.
Right.
Or let's just say like she said, she just dropped them off.
No telling how long she had them.
No telling how long she had them.
Right.
Whether it was voluntarily, whether she said she had something to do or whatever it was. So it wasn't nothing for her to ask family to watch the kids because apparently they watch them.
Right.
But how much do they watch them?
Right. It could have been overwhelming. Right.
And then it's like, okay, I'm bringing them back home. You know, it's just like, well, I need to go get my lips done. Well,
And she like, well, I just,
I'm dropping the kids off.
Yeah, I don't have them for a week.
And who's to say? And it's sad because it's really sad because there could have been arguments that happened before this. There could have been just conversations of, you know, not wanting to watch the kids or whatever it might have been. And this mother was selfish. Regardless of the fact, if somebody else just had your kids, why couldn't you do it when they had the kids?
Right. That's true. That's very true.
There's so many different avenues that you could look at this, but it all boils down to the mother making bad decisions.
Yeah.
Being selfish.
That's true. That's very true. This is why I say that it's very important for you to have a virtuous woman or a virtuous wife. And you might say, like that gentleman, the attorney said, oh, she's young herself, she's 20. Listen, she laid down with a man and not only had one child, but 2 children. So she's somebody's wife, right? As biblically in the Bible, she is someone's wife. And she is not a virtuous woman because she doesn't have a high moral standard. If she had a high moral standard, she wouldn't have been in the facility to get Botox. Because that's not having a moral standard. That's a false way. And the Most High says he hates every false or fake way. He hates every false way. Let me show you that real quick before we go to Proverbs 30. Let me show you that. Psalms 119 real quick. Go ahead.
I just have a comment to make when they say that they're a child at 20 years old. I find it very odd that when something like this happens, all of a sudden they're a child when they're actually of age. Because in the law, in the, you know, according to law, if you have a child that is 14 or probably 12 to 13 years old, and you try to get their health information from the doctor. Or
Right. They say they're an adult. Right.
We need their permission.
Right.
But all of a sudden,
at 20,
you leave your child
Yeah.
in the car at 20 years old,
and one
you're
dies.
a child?
Yeah.
No, that's a load of BS.
So that just shows you what he's going after, what he's just going to try to present, that she's a child in mind. She didn't understand what she was doing. She didn't know.
Did not Trump just pass a bill saying that at 7 years old, your child
can take care of themselves?
Yeah.
So she's well over that.
She's well over that.
Right. And this is what I was going to say about, like, once again, ungodly woman, not a virtuous woman, because she is someone's wife because she has 2 children, right? Biblically, I know in the world they may say, well, she never married anyone. Listen, when she laid down with that man, biblically, she married that man, whoever she had these children by, right? And by her going to live an ungodly life and living in vanity, right, to go get a tan and to get lip injections, as the Bible says right here, Psalms 119, 104, it says, through thy precepts, which are the commandments, I get understanding, right? So if she was hearkening to the very words of the Most High and the law, she would have some type of understanding, right? But she lacked that. As you just said, she doesn't have common sense, right? It says, therefore, I hate every false way. So anything that's false, anything that may be fake, that's not real, that's not true, right? The Most High hates it. And you are able to hate it because he doesn't like anything that's fake. So that stuff that you're putting in your lips to fill them, which is Botox, I don't know exactly what Botox is. I think it's a cream or gel or filler. It's fake. And it's giving a fake illusion that you really have puffy lips or big lips, and you don't. Same thing for breasts, same thing for guys to get calves, pictorials, penal, whatever.
Did you see it?
Did I see what?
Drake,
what did he do?
His abs are fake.
His abs are fake, right? This is what I'm just learning now through the children, right? So one thing again, why? Because he wants to look a certain way. He wants to present himself in a certain manner or a certain way. So he went and did something that was fake to make it look, to give the illusion that what? These are real. And whoever Zac Efron is.
He got into like an accident or something, so he was in the hospital. And then when he got out, his face, like, everyone was saying he got surgery.
He got surgery on his face, like face implant.
Look at this.
Just so that he can look the same.
It's not his pecs. It's not his arms. It's just that.
Right. Yeah. So he got a 6-pack now. He had to go do that. Listen, the Most High hate that. And you as a believer of the Most High Yahawah and his only begotten son, Hamashiach Yahushai, you should hate that, right? We should hate every false and fake way. And if the man, which is her husband, which would if he was a stand-up guy, he had faith and he believed in the Most High Yahawah and he was following the law, statute, and commandments, he wouldn't even allow for his woman to be at a facility like that.
She was probably single.
Hey, she said she was probably single.
Had the man come up and say anything about the kids?
No. Hey, that's a good thing. She said she was probably single because, as we haven't seen, no man has stepped forward and said anything about the child that was lost or about the children that was in the car. Seems like she's taking the brunt or the bulk of it on her own.
Which means that them kids are gonna either go to one of the.
Well, one is dead. The other one will go to either, if the dad wants them, if the dad don't want them, they will go to CPS or something like that, Child Protective Services, right? But this is why I'm saying this is what led to that. Something fake, a false way led to the child's death, right? Let's go to Proverbs 30 real quick, and then we'll move back to Exodus 30. Proverbs 30 and verse 11. Read that.
Proverbs chapter 30, verse 11. There is a generation that curseth their father, and doth not bless their mother. So
when we speak about Exodus 20, where we was at in 12, when it says, honor thy father and thy mother, we know now the father is Yahawah, and the mother is who? The law. So it says there is a generation, right? And we see these things are continually happening and more now. It says there is a generation that curseth their father and do not bless their mother. The word bless there means to exalt. It's not exalting the law. Why? Because they're not hearkening, they're not listening to it, they're not obeying it, right? Read verse 12 and we'll move on. There's a comment. What's the comment? Oh, marvelous. Hey, brother Shalawam, peace and blessings. Shabbat Shalawam. Go ahead.
He says the enhancement revolves around the spirit of pride.
Yeah. I totally agree. And that's basically what I've been trying to say.
Before you started the live.
Say that again?
That's what you were saying before you started the live.
Yeah. My son said that's what I was saying to me and you when we was conversating. Yeah. I was saying that exact same thing to him before I even started the live. But yes, that's exactly what it is. And hopefully the people that watch this, whoever may watch this, can see this. And I'm glad you said it because it's on the screen. Hopefully they can know and see that this is a prideful thing. And as the Bible says, pride was not made for man, right? And if it wasn't made for man, it's definitely not made for a woman. That's what the Bible says. Pride was not made for man. So it's not like they're going to make pride and it's not made for man, but it's made for woman. No, it's not made for man or woman. And these are the things that it leads to. Why? Because these are ungodly women. Like she said, maybe she was, more than likely, she was single. But yet she had 2 children by someone. And like I said, biblically, when you look at it biblically in the Bible, she's married. But yet she killed her child, right? And when we look into the scriptures, as we're about to continue to do, when we go back to Exodus, right? Thank you for that, Mark. We greatly appreciate that. I hope you're doing well out there in the world. I hope everything is going good for you. And like I say, Shabbat Shalawam. Let me go back real quick. We're in Proverbs 30. Let's go back to Exodus real quick. Exodus 20, where we were. And now we're going to read we read 12, and I broke all that down. Hopefully you get that. Honor thy father, which is who? The Most High. Honor thy mother, which is who? The law. Spiritually, that thy days may what? Be long upon the land which Yahweh thy Allah giveth thee, right? The power. Now read verse 13.
Verse 13.
Thou
shalt not kill.
That's a commandment. That's a law that's given in the 10 Commandments. And I'm not saying, I don't know. Most of our Mexican brothers and sisters are Catholic. I don't know if she is Catholic or if she was raised Catholic. I can't say that with a certainty, but this is in the commandments. And she killed her child. You might say, well, she didn't choke him out or do it. Or she did it. She left the child in the vehicle to die. Willingly. She killed that child. So that's why when you see the what is it called? The thumbnail, and it's a woman sitting there with the Bible and the book open, it says, if you learn this law, your whole life will change. Because if she knew this law and she obeyed 12 and 13, none of that would have happened. If she knew this law. I don't know if she did, but if she did and she hearkened to it and listened to that, that child would still be alive.
She didn't know this law. They don't teach it in the church.
Well, she said she didn't.
She
said she didn't know that law. They don't teach it in the church. And she said, especially not a Catholic. And this is why I made this lesson the way I made it, that if you knew this law, then your life would change. And those women that have been leaving their children in the car unattended wouldn't do the things that they do. They just wouldn't. Because what? The Bible, the commandment, the law says, thou shalt not kill. You just shouldn't. Let's go to the New Testament, because I know somebody going to say that's Old Testament. Let's go to the New. Matthew chapter 5 real quick. Once again, anybody that's tuning in, thank you for tuning in. All praises to the Most High on this beautiful Sabbath day. Thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions, anything, please leave a comment, email us, let us know. Matthew 5, right? And it's so much meat in Matthew. So much meat. But I want to go down to 20 or 21, I should say. 20, 21, something like that.
21.
Yeah, just 21. Just read 21 for me.
Matthew chapter 5, verse 21.
Mm-hmm.
Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not kill.
Mm-hmm.
Whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of the judgment.
So, yeah, she in court right now, battling. The lawyer trying to stand up for her. But she got a whole nother judgment she got to deal with. Why? Because she killed that child. And all them other women that have killed their child. Because we just seen another one with a 9-year-old die. Left her in the car for 8 hours. So that mother, yeah, so she can go to work. Matter of fact, she left her in the parking lot at her job at work. From 6 in the morning to 2 something in the afternoon. But wait a minute. This is my thing. When you at work, you get a break and you get a lunch. You mean to tell me out of 8 hours you couldn't go out to the parking lot to check on your child on your 30-minute lunch? So that means you took a lunch and sat at work in the lunch, what they call that, a lunch room, and you was eating lunch, drinking your soda pop or your water, right? Why didn't you take that 30 minutes and say, you know what, my child is in the car, let me go and check on my child? You had 30 minutes to make it to that parking lot. And listen, I don't work in some of the most confined places that you can work at. Believe me, where it takes, like you got to actually get a ride to get to the parking lot. But let me tell you something. If my child, not that I would do it, but if my child was in the car and I knew my child was in the car and I was working an 8-hour shift, when my lunch or my 15-minute break came, believe me, I would get a ride for somebody to take me to the front gate to check my vehicle and check on my child. Had she did that, her child might be alive. Because remember, they didn't come to the vehicle till after 2 o'clock. Her lunch break may have been at 10, something like that. 9:30, 10, I don't know. I just can't believe you worked the 8-hour shift and didn't go to the vehicle when you get a break. That's crazy. No cell phone, no nothing. But anyway, so yes, right here when it says in Matthew chapter 5, verse 21, it says that they shall be what? In danger of judgment. And they're gonna have that judgment. So these ungodly mothers that are doing these things because they're not hearkening and obeying the very law, which my wife said most of them probably don't even know, are falling victim to what? This judgment, right? That's what they're doing. Now let's go to another one, Matthew 18. And we're going to read that one from the top. Matthew 18, right? Matthew 18, verse 1.
Matthew chapter 18, verse 1.
Hold on. Did the brother Marv say something else? Let me see. Okay, yeah, that's about the pride that they dealing with. Jenny Wood said Proverbs. Mayana Pasha, she commented back to our brother Marvelous. The brother Marv said, may Yahawah bless you, Khan. Then he says, Shalawam Mayan Khan. I just wanted to make sure we was caught up on the comments, Khan. All right, let's go to Matthew 18 and 1. Go ahead.
At the same time came the disciples unto Yahushua, saying, who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? And Yahushua called a little child unto him and set him in the midst of them.
So this is what happened, as it says, verse 1. At the same time, the disciples came, right? The apostles. Who did they come to? Yahushua. And they asked the question. They're saying, who is the greatest in the kingdom of the heaven? The Shemayim in the Hebrew, right? Question mark. Verse 2 says, Yahushua called a little child. If you look into that, for those who want to look into it, it says infant, little child. So anybody that's from one infant, 6 months, to 9, 10, 11, 12 children. Yahushua called a little child unto him and set him in the midst of them, right? A little child. Go ahead. Verse 3.
And said, verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven.
So it shows us right here in verse 3 that we as adults, even as believers, should be converted back to what? A little child. Why? Because little children are what? Innocent and pure. They have not been what?
They haven't been
Tarnished, defiled, affected from what? The evil of this world. And he's letting us know as our brother and savior, defiled. Yeah. What?
Defiled.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, haven't been defiled. He's letting us know as the little children that we must convert ourselves back to that pureness. Something that has not been what? Defiled. These women are killing little children. And the Most High and his only begotten Son says and lets us know, we're going to read this, that if you do such a thing, that you might, I don't want to go ahead. We're going to read it. Go ahead. Verse 4.
Verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
Whosoever therefore shall humble himself as this little child, the same is greatest in the kingdom of heaven.
So when you see a little child, that innocence, that pureness, that presence. That's what the Hamashiach Yahawashi is saying, that we need to humble ourselves back down to. Those are examples for us. So imagine these women that are killing these little children because they lack, as you said, common sense. Or as you said, they don't know the commandments. They don't know the law. Go ahead, verse 5.
Verse 5. And whoso shall receive one such little child in my name receiveth me. But whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he were drowned in the depth of the sea.
So it says, if you offend one of these little ones, you hurt one of these little ones, you bring shame to one of these little ones, right? Let's do a comparative text because I want to make sure, right? Let's look at it. In the New King James, it says, but whoever causes one of these little ones who believe in me, so these little ones, these infants, these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11-year-olds, they believe in the Most High and Hamashiach Yahushua. But whoever causes one of these little ones who believe in me to sin, it would be better for him if a millstone were hung around his neck and he were drowned in the depth of the sea, right? The New Living says, if one of these little ones who trust in me to fall into sin, would be better for you to have a large millstone around your neck. Now, as we said earlier, or I said earlier, the mother is the nurturer, right? The father is there, or Salakia, the dad is there, but the mother is spending more time with him, feeding from the breast, rubbing, bathing, taking care of the child. Now, how can a so-called mother or the mom get this child to fall into sin? How? By what? By defiling it. Most children and kids follow what it is that they see their parents do. Why? Because they're listening. They're watching. They see things. So if you cursing up a storm in your household, more than likely your kids is cursing up a storm. If you a woman that has men in and out of your house and you have a daughter, more than likely your daughter's going to turn like, I'm not saying, hey, sometimes the daughter see that and she say, I don't want to be like my mom. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be a whore. But a lot of times, that's the way it goes. And he's saying, if you set your child up or your children up for them to fall into sin, he's telling you right here that you might as well tie a millstone around your neck. Why? Because you are supposed to be the protector of your children. He has given you this gift. And yet you come along and defile it and bring all kind of evil to it and turn them into what? Sin. That's what you do. Verse 7.
Verse 7. Woe unto the world because of offenses, for it must needs be that offenses come. But woe to that man by whom the offense cometh.
Now I'm going to do a comparative text because we just talked about the offenses, right? So I'm going to go to the New Living, right? Just for a moment. And we was in verse what? 10?
Verse 7.
We was in verse 7, Salakia. I'm going to go back up to verse 7 and we'll read that. It says in verse 7 in the New Living, right? You can see it on the screen. Let me make it a little smaller. Matthew 18, verse 7. It says, what sorrow awaits the world because it tempts people to sin. Temptation are inevitable. But what sorrow awaits the person who does the tempting? See, we don't realize the things that we see in this world that tempt us, and those people, individuals that do the tempting that's behind it, they don't understand what sorrow that awaits them for doing the things that they're doing. They think something went off in her head. Go ahead. I'll give it to you before you forget.
Yeah, because just when you were saying about woe to the ones that do the tempting. Right? What sorrow it is to come for them.
Right.
If you think about this woman and her actions, she was the one that was getting lip injections for what? To do tempting.
Right.
Because men like to look at lips, right? So that's a temptation that she's putting upon men.
Right.
And woe to her, the outcome of that was the death of her child.
Right. Right.
So that's a great sorrow.
Right. So she was doing something in vain, and vanity, and tempting.
Yes.
Right. So for those who didn't hear, hopefully you did hear, she said basically that woman that was getting those injections, she was doing it to tempt men. And in that, what sorrow came after her by losing her child or killing her child or the death of her child because of the tempting that she was putting out within the world. See, we don't understand for men and women, when you take these pictures, when you post images, when you show your body in swimsuits and different things of this nature, and you post yourself on social media and you put all this gloss on your lips and you fix your hair and you all in there looking to the side, and you don't understand what temptation you're setting up for this man or for this woman. And them people are looking at your pictures and it's tempting them to do certain things. This is why women get raped. This is why men get raped. This is why women get drugged and raped. This is why men get drugged, because this temptation overtakes the person. And this man sees you and then he snatches you and does whatever he wants to do because the temptation is so strong within him that it overtakes him. Is it right? No. But this is why the Bible is letting you know what sorrow awaits the world, because it tempts people to sin. You have to understand that when you post these things, you're tempting people to sin. It may not fall on you that exact day. It may not fall upon you right then and there, but he may look at that picture of you and it tempt him to do something else to someone else. And because you're not there and he can't get in contact with you, he falls into someone else and they become a victim because you posted stuff. And that's the sorrow that's going to come to you, because the Most High sees it all. He sees it all, that you took the time to create that. You posted the picture. The man seen that, and then it led for him to go out and rape this young girl because you tempted him with that. He wasn't even thinking about it, but when he seen that picture, or vice versa, the man seen this, or the young girl seen this picture of the man, and she went in somewhere and did something, and she was tempted, and she fell into sin. Here's the second part. It says, because it tempts people to sin. Here it is. Temptation is inevitable, meaning it's going to be there and it's going to happen. But us as believers, we have to do what? What do we have to do?
We have to fight the good fight.
We have to fight the good fight. That was a great answer. And what else?
The Most High always gives you a way out of temptation.
Oh, you quoting script? Well, you quoting that? 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and 13, I believe, that he always gives you a way out. Go ahead.
Like you said, there will always be temptation.
There will always be temptation.
He gives you a way out of that temptation.
Right.
But that's only if, like he said, you're fighting a good fight. If you're actually,
if you're really fighting.
If you're really fighting.
Right.
You're not gonna. If you're leaving your house and you got your sword with you, and your armor and everything else, you already know what is to be expected when you walk out that door.
Right. You already know the battle was coming to you. Right.
In any shape, form, or fashion.
Right.
But it could be anything.
Right. And he said it's inevitable, so it is coming.
It's coming. But you gotta know how to thwart that off and how to dodge it and
Right.
keep on going about your day.
And that's why he says, or Salakia, that's why she said that you should have your what? Your sword on you. You should have your armor. You should be prepared because you know when you leave out not only when you leave out your home, in your home, you on a war zone. I know a lot of people say, well, we shouldn't have to be in the war zone in our home, but yet we have these devices. You have your cell phone, you have your computer, you have things inside of your home that you have allowed to come within your home that bring the war to you inside your home. The third part of it says, but woe, or Salakia, but what sorrow awaits the person who does the tempting. So for the young girls out there, the older ladies out there, the young men out there, the older men out there that are taking pictures, putting themselves on social media, doing OnlyFans, prostituting themselves, whoring themselves out, or just taking pictures because you think it's cute and you think you look cute on social media, remember that you are tempting someone and you're going to have to answer for that. And you never know, you may be the one who tempts someone that make them fall into sin and do something to somebody else. Do you want that on your conscience? That you was the last image that they looked at before they went out and raped a young girl? Because they were tempted by the picture you took and they just couldn't take it no more. And they found someone who kind of looked like you, that was similar to you. And it led them off the deep. Verse 8 says, so if your hand or foot causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. It is better to enter into life with only one hand or one foot than to be thrown into eternal fire with both of your hands and feet. Letting you know that if you do this, hypothetically, you cut your hand off, right? That when you go into the afterlife, that's how you're going to look. You still won't have your hand. It will be gone. It's telling you that. Verse 9 says, if your eye causes you to sin, gouge it out and throw it away. It is better to enter into life with only one eye. Letting you know if you gouge it out, when you get ready to go into life, you still only have one eye. Then to have two eyes and be thrown into what? The lake of fire. Verse 10 says, beware that you do not look down on any of these little ones. He's telling us, caution, beware, like a dog sign, right? You know, when you got a dog in the backyard, beware. Don't just come in his backyard. It's a Rottweiler back here. It's telling you, beware that you don't look down on any of these little ones. Who are the little ones? These children. And to me, she was looking down like it really didn't matter. That's how I look at it. That's how I take it when it says look down. Oh, it didn't really matter. I don't think nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
For I tell you that in heaven, the angels, the malaks, are always in the presence of my heavenly Father. Meaning what? Those angels, those malaks, are angels, report and tell the Father everything. So as she left, like you said, went in there, left the children, like you said, with sorrow, because she was doing something in vanity, in vain, to try to tempt men or tempt people. Who knows? She might like men and women. I don't know. But to be a tempter and to tempt people into sin and temptation, look at what the Most High did. Somebody might say, well, the Most High didn't do that. Listen, nobody can leave this planet Earth and die unless the Most High give the decree. So the Most High gave the decree for one of those children to die, to pass away. And the angel delivered the message to the Most High. Look, she down here, she getting the surgery. She left the children in the car. And the Most High gave the decree and said, hey, it's time. The name was on the list that day. Everything is predestined. So that was something that was supposed to happen. Why? Because she was a tempter. How do we know that? Because like the video said earlier, if you watched it, or you can rewind this and go back, it says she went to social media and one of the first things she was doing was like this. all in the camera. Puckering up. Now, you just had surgery and you pucking them up even more. Why? Like she said, you know, men like to look at women's lips. That's why they put all that mess all over their face and gloss all over their lips, trying to make them shiny. Why? To tempt a man. That's it. But as soon as a man do something and he snatch you up, or he knock you in the head and drag you in the alley because you don't tempted him, now it's wrong. You have to understand. Now, I'm not saying it is right that he do that, but you have to understand what you're doing. You're tempting man. And men too. Put your shirt on. Like you just told me about Drake got them fake things for his abs. Why? Because he wants to tempt women. He wants women to look at him and say, ooh, it's not enough that he's Drake and he's a millionaire and he's famous. That's not enough. That's not even enough. He still wants to look a certain way. The vanity of vanities. What lets you know in the inside, no matter how much money he has, no matter how much fame he has, it lets you know that he's what? Unhappy with himself still. Lets you know that happiness is not in any of that stuff. And even though he still has fake abs and all that, he's still not happy because he know intuitively in his mind that they're fake. Now, my son said, everyone knows, which is even worse. Now everybody looking like, yeah, look at it, it's fake. Yeah. Laughing behind his back. Why? Because he wants to tempt someone. But some young man or some young woman that sees that is tempted because they love Drake. They're infatuated with Drake. They have pictures on their wall of Drake. They sing all his songs. They know all his music, and they're infatuated with him. And to them, hey, Drake is everything. So since they can't get to Drake or have Drake, they want a man that looks like that or presents himself like that. Let's move on as we get ready to wrap it up. Let's move to the book of Isaiah. Go back to King James. Brother Timothy, Shalawam, peace and blessings. Shabbat Shalawam. Thank you for tuning in.
Isaiah 1.
Isaiah 49. Let me get the chat real quick. Shalawam fam. Just tuned in. Khan. And it's fire. All praises to the Most High. She said, Shabbat Shalawam to Timothy. Timothy said, happy Sabbath to all. Khan. So Shalawam, Shabbat Shalawam, peace and blessings to you and the family. Hope everything is going good. You know what I'm talking about. And be looking for that because it's coming to you. It says, thank you, Mayan, as well, your household. Khan, all praises. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 49, I said. Verse 15. Hold on, let me get there. Isaiah 49. And we're going to start at verse 15. Now, I want to say this. I know I've been kind of going hard on women today, and we kind of focused on women, but I want to say this. It's definitely not all women. There's a lot of loving mothers out there. There's a lot of loving women out there, and that's why I started off this lesson when my son started to read the book of Sirach, chapter 26, correct? I believe it 26 verse 1. It says, blessed is the man that have a virtuous woman. And then we looked into that word virtuous, which is what?
Which is having or showing a high moral standard.
Having or showing a high moral standard. So that's the type of woman that a man should want to be with. You would pray to the Most High that he would send you a virtuous woman, right? Not these ungodly women that have been leaving their children in the vehicle, that don't know about the law, statutes, and commandments, who could care less about the law, statute, and commandments. You want a virtuous woman, one that has a high moral standard, that doesn't need hair coloring, doesn't need fake eyelashes, doesn't need contacts in her eyes, doesn't need fake fingernails, fake nails, doesn't need Contacts. They put contacts in their eyes. Not regular contacts. I'm talking about if you want a color. Like some of them to get blue contacts. Like, oh, I want to have green eyes today. You know. No, I'm not talking about contacts for to see. Yeah. Lip liner. Makeup. You know, like Jezebel in the Bible, she want to put all this face paint on, you know, to try to beautify herself. You know. People use lip liner. Let me show you this. She said she seen a man at the post office with what on? Brother Timothy.
He had, that's the first time I ever seen it up close. So he must be balding or thinning. And he had the line up with the color, I guess the spray.
The spray on?
And it looked like a little helmet. And I was like, oh my goodness. Like, and they think they look good like that.
Uh-huh.
What are you talking about?
It's like a
the
filler,
spray on?
Spray it. Yeah, they do it for their beards and their hair. Like if you go to the barber shop to get a lineup, if you don't have enough hair, they'll
spray it with like a color.
So that's crazy. That's crazy.
It looked like a helmet.
We're gonna go to 1 Timothy 2:9 first, but I got it in the NLT, right? That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm gonna read this real quick. So when we talk about women, how you want a virtuous woman, this is what the Bible kind of goes into what a virtuous woman is, right? The book of Sirach 26, verse 1 on down, and what we read today. If you go back and rewind it, you'll see. And this is what you kind of want, right? You don't want a woman, as we read in the book of Psalms 119, I believe it's 104. He hates every false way, right? You don't want the lip injections. You don't want the breast implants. You don't want the BBLs. You don't want what you say, the lip liner, the fake lashes. You don't want nothing fake. You just want a woman, as the Bible says in 1 Timothy 2:9. And I want women to be modest in their appearance, right? Virtuous woman, modest in her appearance. They should wear decent and appropriate clothing and not draw attention to themselves by the way they fix their hair or by wearing gold or pearls or expensive clothes, right? This is a virtuous woman, a woman of the Most High, and His only begotten Son, Hamashiach Yahawashi. Verse 10, for women who claim to be devoted to the Most High Yahweh should make themselves attractive by the good things they do. Has nothing to do with you putting blue and green contacts on, having fake fingernails on, having pants on, having makeup on, you know, getting lip injected. That's not going to help you in any type of way. Those are things of this world, which is vanity, and that's not a virtuous woman. Verse 11, it says, women should learn quietly and submissively. Verse 12 says, and do not let women teach men or have authority over them. Let them listen quietly, right? Verse 13 says, for the Most High made Adam first, and afterward he made Eve. Now, for those who were tuned in earlier in Genesis chapter 3, verse 20, it said what? Eve was what?
She was named Eve?
No, but what is she? Eve in Genesis
is the mother of all.
Is the mother of all living, right? So Eve is the mother of all living. The Most High Yahweh has given women the gift to bring forth life out of her womb, right? That's a gift. So why are you throwing that gift away by killing your children, leaving them in a vehicle because you want to get lip injections or tan or shopping? Verse 14, it says, and it was not Adam who was deceived by Satan. We have to remember this. The woman was deceived and sin was the result. And it's the same thing. I feel like these women that are leaving these children in the car and these children are dying and they are killing their children is because they're being deceived. How are they being deceived? By vanity, by the things of this world. Yes, they're poor judgment and poor decisions, but if you wasn't going after these things and you were being what? A modest woman, you wouldn't even be in these situations. It says in verse 15, but women will be saved through what? Childbearing, by giving birth to children. That's how you are saved. Assuming they continue to live in what? What does that say? Assuming they continue to live in what? Faith, love, holiness, and modesty. That's how a woman will be saved. And clearly, from this message today that we have seen, from everything that I have shown and putting together through the Spirit of the Most High Yahweh and His only begotten Son, Hamashiach Yahushua, that's not what's happening in the world today with a lot of our women. And I say our women because, you know, some of them that I showed were young Hispanic women. I believe one was a Caucasian woman. I'm not quite sure, but she said she was going to get a tan. And I think one was an Asian woman. I'm not sure, right? But I just wanted to show that. So if you want to know how a woman should be and how she should really be beautified and how she should really present herself, it tells us that she should not draw any attention to herself. Why? We read it earlier in Matthew 18 to cause not what? One of these little ones to fall into what? Sin. Because a woman, just as well as a man, can make a man or a woman fall into sin. So we have to be cautious and careful how we present ourselves. You don't want the brother to lust after you. You don't want the sister as a man to lust after you. So no, your britches shouldn't be tight like they were painted on. You know, you shouldn't have a shirt that's hugging your body so you can see your physique. No, because you know that may get a woman to what? Lust after you. Women look at men just like men look at women.
Everybody look at each other.
Everybody look at each other, she says. And that's true. So you should present yourself in a manner that you wouldn't have one of the women or one of the sisters to fall into lust. And sisters, you should present yourself that you wouldn't want one of your brothers to fall into lust and fall into sin and therefore get cast into the lake of fire. Because like the Bible said, what sorrow awaits the who? The tempter. So be careful. That's why it says right here in verse 9 to wear appropriate clothing and not draw attention to themselves. And it has a big thing to do, as it says right here, by fixing of the hair. That's why women go to these beauty shops and beauty salons and they sit in there for hours and get their hair pressed out and colored and stripped and a certain design. Why? Because you want that attention. You want someone to tell you, oh, that's pretty. Thank you. And man, you want to go to the barbershop. So you look what? Clean cut. So the world tells you. So let's go back to Isaiah real quick. 49, where we was before we get ready to close out. Isaiah 49 and verse 15, right?
You want it in NLT?
No, we're going to do it right here, KJV. King James Version. Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 49, verse 15.
Mm-hmm.
Can a woman forget her sucking child?
Can she? Apparently, right? Apparently. I mean, she can. She was in there. One was getting a tan. Apparently. And then she tell him, why you telling me? Well, you forgot your child in the car while you was in there getting a tan.
Even if you're like really busy, it is possible. It is possible to forget your child. I know.
In a car?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Who was it? I think it was Ashley. They had just pulled into the garage and was bringing the groceries, and they left Amor in the car.
Wow. See?
All of that.
Yeah.
You told me that?
Yeah.
Did you tell me that?
See? She's telling me a story that one of my cousins, they had pulled in the home and they brought the groceries in. I guess after they put the groceries away.
Yeah,
they put the groceries away and they figured out, hey, they was missing a child.
Yeah, because she was going to go feed her. And she was like, where's my baby?
She said she was going to go feed her and she was looking for it. All this time she left her in the car. So basically what my daughter is saying is that it is possible that a mother is so busy and things going on to very much leave the child inside the car. Now, that's something different.
I personally think it's only if it's like a newborn.
She says she thinks it's only if it's a newborn, but
because if it's an older child, like the 9-year-old,
No, well, she did that on purpose. She knew that the child was in the car. She left that child there on purpose. The 9-year-old that died in the car. With the windows cracked. Right. She went to work. She worked an 8-hour shift. So she knew that she left that child in the car. Right.
Never over that.
You don't left him in the car for an hour?
We've been back in the car before, but
Who?
Not
when they were babies. No. Yeah.
Throw me under the bus.
Yeah. Throw you under the bus. Hey, we gonna leave him in the car. Hey, I said tomorrow. No, just no joke. I'm just. Yeah. I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about they was babies.
I left her in the car in the post office. She didn't want to come inside.
No, I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about when they was babies.
This is what I'm trying to tell you.
The window was cracked. The window was cracked. There was a little breeze, but it was.
Listen, if you 18 and it's hot, you don't know how to open up the door and get out the car.
She's saying she got out the car.
Oh, you got out the car?
That's an example of saying, even as an adult, you get hot and you leave.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
These little ones, they're not able to do that.
Right. No, they're not able to do that.
And then
she at the window at the crack talking about.
And the 9-year-old, even though she's of age to be able to open the door and get out, she was only doing what her mother told her not to
do, not to get out the car. Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Because she is able enough to get out the car. We know that as a 9-year-old.
Right. So that's yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's just sad.
So it said, can a woman forget her suckling child? Yes, she can. Right. Go ahead.
That she should not have compassion on the son of her womb. Yea, they may forget, yet will I not forget thee.
Yeah. The Most High said, yeah, they might forget. The Most High Yahweh said, yeah, they may forget, but I won't forget.
He said, me personally.
Yeah, me personally, I ain't gonna forget.
And it even said, like, that comment that she made, it's not like I left them in there to effing die.
Right.
Like the Most High just said in that comment right there.
Yeah.
She didn't have no feeling.
She didn't have no compassion on her son of her womb. Like she said, the girl that was in the thing, she said, it's not like I left him in the effing car to die. That's what she said, right? No compassion. She left her 2 children, 1-year-old and 2-year-old, in a car to die, right? For those who may not know what I'm talking about, I'm going to stop sharing this. We're getting ready to close out, but I'm going to show that part, just that part, one more time real quick, right? For those who may not know and didn't see, I'm going to show that part of that young lady who did this one more time, right? So just bear with me right here. For those who don't know what's going on and may not know what's going on, I'm going to show this from the beginning again. Here it is.
Prison jumpsuit. This mom is accused of the unthinkable. Cops say she left her 2 kids in a hot car for 2 hours while she was getting lip injections. Her youngest son died in the blistering heat. Authorities say the young mom had her 2 babies, ages 1 and 2, strapped in their car seats in this parking lot while she was inside for up to 2 hours having a cosmetic procedure. It was one of the hottest days of the year. It reached 102 degrees. Maya Hernandez looked emotionless as she faced a judge inside a courtroom in Bakersfield, California. Ring camera footage shows police questioning the mom moments after she found both sons in a medical crisis. Hernandez is shielding her eyes from the bright sun. Police say temperatures inside the car soared to 143 degrees. Little Emilio had no pulse and died at the hospital. His 2-year-old brother miraculously survived.
It's a tragic situation and she's incredibly sad.
I spoke to the mom's attorney. The children were clearly in the car. The allegation is she left them in the car knowingly.
Right. I want people not to rush to judgment. The fact of the matter is she's still a child herself. She's barely 20.
At a vigil, the children's grandmother spoke out against her daughter-in-law.
I have been tortured, but the thought that they were in there alone, it was just a horrible experience.
On social media, the grandmother posted, she left them in their car seats alone for Botox. My God, why? The little boy's aunt teared up thinking of her last visit with Emilio.
It's great knowing that I got at least that last moment before dropping him off at home and never knowing this would happen.
Maya Hernandez had recently posted this selfie showing off her pouty lips. Now that desire for full lips appears to have cost the life of her young son.
Hernandez is charged with.
So as you can see, that's what this whole lesson, I felt like we needed to speak on this. I felt like we needed to bring this lesson out. And that's what this whole lesson really boiled down to. Ungodly women, forsaking, leaving their children, killing their children when it comes to the law. That's why this title is what it says. It says what? Learning this law will change your life. And if they learn this law, the laws of the Most High Yahawah and His only begotten Son, Hamashiach Yahushua, it will change their life. Because we read Exodus 20, verse 12, which is to honor who? The father and the mother. And verse 13, which says, thou shalt not kill. And that's what these young women are doing because they're ungodly women. As we get ready to close out, let's go back real quick. Let me share my screen one more time to who? Isaiah 49. We read that from the top, and then I have one more verse after that. Read that from the top again. Oh, you got one? Go ahead. Go ahead.
When it comes to, like what you said about if they read the scriptures and learn the law, then they would know certain things, that it could save them.
Mm-hmm.
In this instance, if they read and learned the law, they would know that beauty is vain.
Right.
Therefore, they wouldn't need to go and try to do things to themselves, just to please so-called man, or want to look a different type of way. They would know that doing those things is actually detrimental to their own salvation.
Right. Definitely. Definitely. I wanted to try to find something about that. Let me see. Say that again, no? Go over that one more time.
I was saying that if they knew the law and they would read the scriptures and go over the law would be able to save them, because then they would see that beauty is vain.
Right.
Most High says that beauty is vain, and they wouldn't want to go and try to fix themselves or do whatever it is to themselves. One, woe to the tempter, which is what they're doing, is tempting, and two, it's actually detrimental to their salvation, because you're doing something that He told you not to do.
And that's why the Bible tells us, desire not the beauty of a woman, right? Don't get caught into that. Don't fall into that. We was reading that earlier in the book of Proverbs when we was going through that in verse 6. Let me get that real quick. Let's go back real quick, right? The enticement, as we were speaking about earlier. I believe that was Proverbs 6 and 23 that we stopped at, right? But if we go down just a little bit, right? We read to 23. If you read 24, it says to do what?
To keep thee from the evil woman. From the flattery of the tongue of a strange woman.
Right. Now, in a spiritual sense, it's talking about a multitude of things. But in this sense right here, we talking about what? Beauty, right? Beauty. The beauty of who? A woman. Verse 25 says what?
Lust not after her beauty in thine heart.
Right. Go ahead.
Neither let her take thee with her eyelids.
So don't lust after the beauty of a woman, but yet that's what the woman wants you to lust after. But we know that the beauty of a woman is what? Vain. It's vanity. It's worthless. Go ahead. Verse 26. Watch this.
For by means of a whorish woman, a man is brought to a piece of bread. And the adulteress will hunt for the precious life.
The adulterous woman, which is an evil woman. She's a very evil woman. And she will hunt. She's a hunter. What is she hunting for? Precious life. Who has precious life? It will be the man of the Most High. The one who's walking and serving in what? Righteousness. That's the only reason your life is precious. Otherwise, you would just be wicked and evil. And believe me, your life is not precious. But that whorish woman, that's all caught up in her beauty, as it says in verse 26, it has brought to a piece of what? It brings a man down to a piece of what? Bread. Brought to a piece of bread. Go ahead.
Verse 27 or continue?
27. Go ahead.
Can a man take fire in his bosom and his chest and his clothes not be burned?
Right. Can you deal with that woman and not what? Get burned? A whorish woman. Not a virtuous woman like we've been speaking about today, but a whorish woman. Can you take that whorish woman and not be burned? No. You can't. Verse 28 says what?
Verse 28 says, "Can one go upon hot coals and his feet not be burned?"
That's what it's asking you. So no, you can't deal with you can't deal with a whorish woman and not be burned. That's the example it's given. Can you walk on hot coals and your feet not be burned? No. If you walk on hot coals, the bottom of your feet, unless you got some certain kind of feet, right? Certain kind of feet. Like if somebody ever watched, let me show you this. If somebody ever watched Shaka, right? For those that are a little older who watch Shaka Zulu, in their training, they made them walk over things like that because they didn't wear shoes and they were out in the wilderness, and they would hunt and they would do things. So for their training to make their feet like to withstand, yeah, whatever they would stand on, that was the training that they put them through to stand on hot coals or walk through hot coals, right? For those who have watched Shaka before.
Brother Timothy left a comment.
Con, let me see what the brother Timothy said. Remember, we at verse 28. Let's see what the brother Timothy says. This is why it is happening. Where is the father in the house? Right, Deuteronomy 28, 54 and 56. Con. And that's exactly what I spoke on earlier, is it starts with who? The man, because the man is the head of the woman. And that's why all these things are happening. But first it starts with the man. Yeah, he's the head of the woman, but the man has to be under subjection to who? Hamashiach Yahawashi, to lead the woman and know how to treat her and love her and be right with her. Like my wife said, that woman was probably single. Even though she laid down with a man that had 2 children, the man probably wasn't there. Like we said, we haven't even heard anything from the father. Let something like that happen to my child, I would want to say something. And it's not about being on social media, but this is just about standing up, that this is my household, this is my wife, this is, it's a tragedy. But as you can see, the mother-in-law says something, so the mother-in-law has to be who? Has to be the guy's mom. So the guy's mom can go on national TV and say something. His cousin or his aunt could go, like all these people are saying something, but where's the father? He's not standing up. Salakia, not father, because we have one father. But where's the dad? He's not standing up and saying anything.
Maybe Trump deported him.
You wrong for that. She said maybe Trump deported him. It could be true. It could be true. It definitely could. ICE. We're against ICE. Stop deporting our brothers. But yes, Brother Timothy, you are 100% correct. And that's in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 54. Verse 56. Yeah, we all would have lost our mind. And that's why I'm saying for him not to be saying anything. Maybe like she said, Trump did deport him. We don't know what's going on. But for her dad not to step up to the plate and say something, that's a little odd. And she's fighting a murder case because she wanted lip injections, which is vanity, the beauty. And this is what happened when you fall into these temptations, when you fall into these things, Thank you, Brother Timothy, for that.
Probably going to get charged with murder. Child endangerment.
Yeah, definitely. Brother Timothy said, I would lose my mind. I would have lost my mind, Salaki. Yeah, definitely. Me and you. I don't even know how I would fathom that, how I would handle it. I don't know. But thank you for that comment, Brother Timothy. Let's go back to Proverbs and finish this off real quick. Where was we at? We read 28. Let's go to 29. Go ahead.
Proverbs chapter 6, verse 29. So he that goeth into his neighbor's wife, whosoever toucheth her shall not be innocent.
Yeah, don't sleep with your brother's wife, okay? That's called adultery, which was one of the next laws in the very book we was in, Exodus chapter 20. The very next verse 14 said that thou shalt not commit adultery. So like we were saying, if you would hearken and listen to these very laws, as we said, it will change your life. Your life will not be the same. But this is why these things are happening, not only in the world, but to our brothers and sisters out here. Because like the Brother Timothy said, the man is not in the house. He's not leading. Let me get this real quick. That is very important. And then we'll get ready to close out, right? First Corinthians chapter 11. This is what our brother Paul left for us. I believe I want verse 3, right?
11.
Yeah. First, let's start at 1 because he explains this and it's very important. You know, what does that say at the top? The Christian order, right? The one who believes in Hamashiach Yahawah, right? This is the order if you are a believer. And the problem is that a lot of our brothers and sisters are not believers, are not being taught the truth, like she was saying, especially in the Catholic Church. Verse 1, go ahead.
Verse 1, be ye followers of me, even as I also am Hamashiach.
Right, go ahead.
Now I praise you, brethren, that ye remember me in all things, and keep the ordinances as I delivered them to you.
So layman terms, right? Paul is saying, hey, I praise y'all for what y'all doing, brethren, right? And I always say brethren because we're speaking about what? The brotherhood, the brethren. That you remember me in all things, brothers, and keep what? What do we keep? The ordinances, right? As what? I delivered them to you. So as I'm delivering them to you today through the Spirit, through Hamashiach Yahawah, make sure that you do what? Keep them. Verse 3 says what? This is what we came for. Verse 3.
But I would have you know that the head of every man is Hamashiach.
That the head of every man is Hamashiach, right? I broke this down in another lesson about brothers wearing hats on their head, how they're defiling and disgracing the very head of them, which is Hamashiach Yahawah, right? You might say, well, how is he our? Listen, Paul is saying that the head of every man is who? Hamashiach. So the crown of your head representation spiritually is who? Hamashiach Yahawah. Go ahead.
And the head of the woman is the man. And the head of Hamashiach is Yahweh.
So Hamashiach Yahawah has a head, which is the Father, right? That's who he answers to. Now the head of a woman is who? The man. That's who she's supposed to answer to. But if the man is not there, like the brother Timothy said, then she has no head over her. And a lot of our sisters don't have dads in the household. So not only do they not have a husband, they don't have a dad either. So they just really out here running wild because they have no head over them whatsoever. Because a woman is not supposed to be over the household, it's supposed to be the man. So if the man is not there doing what he's supposed to do, being the head, as it says right here, then all crumbles. It all falls down. Because we are one body. And Hamashiach is the head of us. Let me get that real quick. Let me just show that again. Colossians chapter 1, verse 18 real quick. And then we'll go back and get ready to close this out. You got it or you want me to read it?
118.
118.
Colossians chapter 1, verse 18.
Con.
And he is the head of the body.
He is the what?
Head of the body.
Who we speaking about?
Yahweh.
We speaking about Hamashiach Yahawah. How do we know this? Let's go up a little bit, right? Let's go up about this. Verse 13. Who have delivered us from the power of darkness and has translated us unto the kingdom of his dear who? Son, in whom we have redemption through his what? Blood, right? Whose blood? Hamashiach Yahawah's blood, who the world calls Christ, right? The anointed one, the Savior, even the forgiveness of what? Sins, right? Through his blood. This is how we get forgiveness. Verse 15, it says, who is the image of the invisible power, the firstborn of every creation. Who are we speaking about?
Yahweh.
Who?
Yahweh.
We're speaking about who? Who is the image of the invisible power, the firstborn of every creation? Who we speaking about? Yahawah. 16, for by him were all things created that are in the heaven, that are in the earth, visible and invisible, whether there be thrones or dominions, or principalities, or powers. All things were created by him and for him. Who we speaking about? Hamashiach Yahawah. Verse 17 says, and he is before all things, and by him all things consist. Here it is, 18, where we started at. And he is the head of who? The body. Why is he the head of the body? Because we are the body as believers. We are the body as believers, but he is our head. That's why Paul says that in 1 Corinthians chapter 11. He is the head of who? The body. And they said, which is what? The church. Paul is letting us know he is the head. Let me get this real quick. Like I said, we're getting ready. 12. Romans 12 real quick. I'm just going to these real quick. And it says in Romans 12 and 5, it says, so we as believers, the brethren, the brotherhood, the sisterhood, the body, it says we, being many, are what? One body. We are one body. That's what we consist of. The believers, the brotherhood, the sisterhood, the ones who walk with Hamashiach Yahawashi. We are the body. In who? Hamashiach Yahawashi. That's what it says. And in Colossians, it says that he's what? Verse 18, that he's what? The head of that body. He's the head of that body. So when we go back to Corinthians, verse 3, it says that what? But I will have you know that the head of every man is Hamashiach. Right. He is our head. So no, you can't have your head covered when you pray or prophesy as a man. No, you can't have that baseball hat on. Take it off because you're wrong. You're disgracing Hamashiach Yahawashi. You might say, well, how do you know? How are you going to say that? Well, verse 4 says it. Every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonor or disgrace his head. And who is his head? Hamashiach Yahawashi. So every time you see a teaching, praying, prophesying, he got a baseball cap on, he got something covered his whole head and not his crown open, he is disgracing Hamashiach, Christ, the anointed one, the Savior. That's what he's doing. And I went into that on my lesson on Thursday. And then it says, and the head of the woman is the man. So anytime you see women out here and they don't have their head covered, and they say that they believe in Hamashiach Yahawashi, they believe in the Father, and they ain't got their head covered, they don't. They're disgracing who?
They're disgracing Yahawashi.
They are disgracing Yahawashi, but Yahawashi is not their head. So who are they disgracing? The man. They disgracing the man. That show you the rebellion of the woman when she don't have her head covered. She is disgracing you as the man, as who? Her head. Because it says right here that the head of the woman is the man. So if it's a dishonor for a man when he pray to cover his head, he's disgracing Hamashiach Yahawashi. And verse 5 says, but every woman that prayeth or prophesy with her head uncovered dishonor her head. That's what the Bible says. 1 Corinthians 11 and 5. So now who is she dishonoring, or who is she disgracing? She is disgracing who? The man, because that is the woman's head. So this is what Paul is letting us know, that she dishonored her head, which is the man right here. And if she's going to do that, Paul said, listen, she might as well shave her whole head then. Just cut all your hair off and be bald-headed. But women don't want that. So if you don't want that, then cover your head up. Sorry to go off into that, but I just wanted to show that once again. But as we get ready to close out, let's go to the book of James real quick. James 1. James chapter 1. Let's start with 12 and we'll work our way down to 17. And then we'll get ready to close out. Go ahead.
James chapter 1 verse 12.
Uh-huh.
Blessed is the man that endureth temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which Yahweh hath promised to them that love him.
So we have to endure that temptation. We read earlier that temptation is what? Inevitable. So it's going to continue and it's going to happen. But like she was speaking on earlier when she had her comment, that we have to have our sword with us and have our armor on, right, to be in this battlefield, right? Go ahead. Verse 13.
Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of the Most High. For the Most High cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempteth he any man.
Go ahead.
But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed.
So, as I said, as the scripture said, woe to who? The tempter. But it says, but every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own what?
Lust.
So, man already has this lust inside of him. So when you take pictures, or you on OnlyFans, or you whatever you doing, and you posting these things, you are enticing this man into the lust that's already inside of him, and then you wonder why women get raped, or bad things happen, or they drug. Because what? This lust is inside this man already. You have enticed him, and you may have just posted something that took him or her over. Because women do these things too. I don't want you to think women don't drug men or women don't rape men. They just as devious as the man is. Goes both ways. 15.
Then when lust hath conceived, it bringeth forth sin.
Mm-hmm.
And sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death.
So that sin, as she was saying earlier, right, when she said that woman that was doing those things in vain, vanity, getting them lip injections, left her son in a car so she can be a what? Tempter, and have men or whoever fall into sin, it brings forth what? Death. Did it not bring forth death? The very action of her being what she wanted to be, a tempter, it brought forth sin, and then it brought forth what? Death. The sin was the neglect of what? Her children and leaving them in the car, and it brought forth what? Death. 16 says what?
Do not err, my beloved brethren.
Don't err, my beloved brethren. The brotherhood, right? Don't err. What does error mean? Do you know?
Wrong.
No. No.
Error.
Error. E-R-R.
Error.
Right. Don't err. What does it mean?
Don't do wrong.
Let's see. Because I believe it was to go astray. So let's see what the biblical is. Let's go. Oh man, I hate when they got these like this. Let's see. Yeah, it says deceive, astray, seduce, wander, or be out the way. Biblical outline usage is to cause to stray, to lead astray, lead aside, the right way, to go astray, to wander. Right. So to be led to error.
It says wandering from the right path, making a mistake, or deviating from Allah's commandments.
Right. So to wander away from the right path or go astray from the Most High. Right. So Paul is saying, do not go astray. Do not err. Do not wander off the right path. Do not go down the wrong path. And then he says, who? Who is he saying this to? My beloved brethren. My beloved brethren out there to the four corners of the earth. All of the brethren out there. Do not err. Do not go astray. Do not go to the left or to the right, but stay on that narrow path. Because there's the book of Ezra, chapter 7, 56 on down, I believe. It says what? There's fire on one side. Actually, that's another one. It's up in the book of Ezra, chapter 7. Believe in the early 20s. Let me get that because I quoted it. You know me, and I got to find it now. Hold on. Give me 1 second. 1 second. I'll get it for you. It's in the second Ezra, really, for those who know in the Apocrypha. Chapter 7, verse 7, right? It says the entrance is so narrow and dangerous, right, that you can fall because there's fire on one side, and on the other hand, deep water. That's in the verse, 2nd Ezra, chapter 7, verse 7, right? So he's saying, don't go astray, basically. Who? The brethren. Verse 17, go ahead.
Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, and cometh down from the Father of lights, with whom is no variableness neither shadow of turning.
So I'm going to leave off with that, right? Let's get it in the comparative text, James, right? I just want to see it in the NL real quick. It says, whatever is good and perfect, Salakia, whatever is good and perfect comes down from who? The Father. That's who it comes down from. Whatever is good and perfect, it comes down from who? The Most High, our Father, who created all the lights in the heavens, and he never changes or casts a shifting shadow. The Most High never changes. This is why we can hearken and listen and to put what? Our trust in his word. Let me get one more before I close out. I know I said that was it, but let me get this one real quick. Psalms chapter, is it 19? Let me see. Yeah. Psalm chapter 19, I'm going to do verse 7. This is why we can put our trust in the Most High Yahweh. Verse 7 says, the law of Yahweh is perfect, right? So this is why we need the law. If those young ladies would listen and hearken to the law and be taught the law, it would do what? Convert their souls. Like the testimony of Yahweh is what?
The testimony of Yahweh is sure.
It's sure. Doing what?
Making wise the simple.
Would you say them young ladies are simple? Would you call them simple? Yeah. Okay. Well, it says this will make them wise, right? Verse 8. The statutes of Yahweh are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandment of Yahweh is pure and enlightening to the eyes. Enlightening to the eyes. When something is enlightening you, you kind of what? You understand a little more, you think? What you say? Enlightening. What do you feel about enlightening? Do you feel like it's more, like you understand it more?
I guess
more of belief, you say?
Relief.
Relief? Okay. More of a relief? Enlighten. Yeah, you come to an understanding, so you have more of like a relief. I can understand that. Verse 9, the fear of Yahweh is clean, enduring forever. The judgments of Yahweh are true and righteous altogether. More to be desired are they than gold, than much fine gold, sweeter also than honey in the honeycomb. Moreover, by them is thy servant warned, and in keeping of them there is great reward. Who can understand his errors? Cleanse thou me from thy secret faults. Keep back thy servant also from presumptuous sins. Let them not have dominion over me. Then shall I be upright, and I shall be innocent from thy great transgression. Let thy words, I'll let you read the last verse of the day. Psalms 19:14. Read that for me, son. The last verse of the day before we close out. Go ahead.
Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Yahweh, my strength and my redeemer.
All praises to the Most High Yahweh. He is our strength and he is our redeemer. We give all praises, honor, glory, esteem to the Most High Yahweh for all that he has done for this beautiful lesson. Once again, he is our strength and our redeemer. Brother Timothy said all praises. This was so timely and powerful. I believe so through the Spirit. Thank you, Brother Timothy. We give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh, man. I'm telling you, this is a powerful, powerful lesson. Send this message out, share it. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, share. For all those that tuned in and may tune in later, man, I just say thank you, the water, and this is something that's going on with inside the community, inside the nation, with inside, just in the world in general, right? Just within the world in general. And we have to be a light to the world. So please, as believers, be that light. Stand up. Help one another. Love one another. Show one another, and be more. What's the word we was talking about last night? Empathetic.
Yeah, be more empathetic or responsible or what?
Be more empathetic towards people.
Yes, empathetic.
And be more responsible of the word. And the reason I say that is because if you show more empathy, you be more empathetic towards people, you show them love. And then responsibility and your character and your integrity, all those things will show as that you show reverence of the Most High and become what? Let me get one. Ooh, man, the word. Let's go to Peter real quick, and we'll close out with that. Is it 1 Peter or 2 Peter? Let me see. I believe it's 2 Peter. Let me see. Yeah, 2 Peter 1. And this is kind of going to what we're talking about, right? About the faith, about all the things we need, that we should show one another the love, the compassion, being empathetic, being taking responsibility, all these things, right? As these young women we spoke about, and even us men, for the leaders of the home, right? 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 1. Go ahead.
2 Peter.
You want to read it?
2 Peter chapter 2.
No, 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 1.
2 Peter chapter 1, verse 1.
Go ahead.
Simon Peter, a servant and the apostle of Yahawashi HaMashiach, to them that have obtained like precious faith with us through the righteousness of the Most High and our Savior, Yahawashi HaMashiach. Grace and peace be multiplied unto you through the knowledge of the Most High and of Yahawashi, our Master. According as his divine power hath given unto us all things that pertain unto life and godliness, through the knowledge of him that hath called us to glory and virtue. Glory and virtue. That's what we call to. Go ahead. Whereby are given unto us exceeding great and precious promises, that by these ye might be partakers of the divine nature, having escaped the corruption that is in the world through lust. Right. We have escaped that corruption that's in the world through lust. How? Through Hamashiach Yahawashi, through his blood, and through the example that he left for us. Go ahead. And beside this, giving all diligence, add to your faith virtue, and to virtue knowledge. So these are the things that we have to add to what? What does it say? Add to your faith what? Virtue. So Peter is letting you know there's things that we need to add to our walk, add to our faith. And these are some of the things, the qualities he's telling us that we need to add to us as individuals. We need to add virtue and what? And to virtue knowledge. And to knowledge temperance. And to temperance patience. For those who don't know what temperance is self-control. We need to have self-control. Go ahead. And Salakia and patience. So we need self-control, patience, and what else? And to patience, godliness. Sorry, go ahead. And to godliness, brotherly kindness. And to brotherly kindness, charity. Boom. So we need brotherly kindness. Show love to your brother. Be kind to your brother. As we said earlier, what's the word? Empathetic. Not only for your brother, but for your sisters too. Am I frozen? I shouldn't be frozen. No, we ain't froze. So be kind. Verse 8. Verse 8. For if these things be in you and abound, they make you that ye shall neither be barren nor unfruitful in the knowledge of our Master, Yahawashi HaMashiach. Shalakia, right there, that's good enough. You won't be barren, nor will you be unfruitful, who? In the knowledge of our Master, Yahawashi HaMashiach, Yahawashi. So with that being said, man, I'm going to leave it right there. We're going to get ready to close out. Powerful, powerful lesson. Thank you for those who tune in and will tune in and will watch this later. If you watch the whole video, give it a thumbs up and a like, right? And I say shalom to all those out there, like I say, to the four corners of the earth. And we say Kwam Yasharallah, Shabbat Shalawam, and thank you for tuning in. All praises to the Most High Yahweh. Call Yahweh, Ba'Shem Mashiach Yahawashi. And with that, I say Shalom.